keep government open for the American people. We will mediate the disagreements between that side of the room and that side of the room. We will do that for you. But you got to at least invite us to that meeting. So if you want us to solve your problem because you can't agree amongst yourselves, reach out.
Jared Moskowitz. I'm glad we are retaining this alpha liberal.
He wasn't going to go.
Yeah, he said no, thanks on the FEMA job. I know that would have been crazy because he would actually be the only Trump nominee that's qualified that has experience in disaster management.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Jared Moskowitz. Okay. We marinate in this, and I'm gonna need a review.
Okay.
As to what has happened.
All right.
What has so? Okay, to review. First of all, Trump's already calling this the Biden shutdown.
No, it's not. And Biden's not running again. So
Because
what's the
Biden
point
has
of
what
that?
to do with this. Nothing. Okay. See, this is, you know what the problem is? This is how secure they are in their right-wing disinformation bubble. It doesn't matter what they do, the American people, because Fox News will spin it how they want.
Yep.
And it's Democrats' fault, and it's Biden's fault again. We were talking about Biden's approval rating.
Yeah.
Why do you think that is? This is because they've completely captured either the whole right-wing ecosphere or cowed the mainstream media into the way they report things. I remember we mentioned Chris Murphy yesterday, how they reported the Liz Cheney thing as if there's any there.
Right.
There is nothing there. There is no crime. But anyway, okay. So again, to review, bipartisan deal. They made a bipartisan packing for Christmas.
Right.
Ready to go home.
Right.
Mike Johnson put together, Republican, bipartisan. Okay, President Musk told his bottom, Donald Trump, to blow up.
His bossy bottom.
Right. It's nothing like an ineffectual bossy bottom.
Well.
Right.
Yeah. It's just like Walter. It's just like Walter down there, just, trying to boss you around, just whatever. President Musk is not listening to you. Okay, so let me get this straight. So then I think Trump got wind of that this is really playing disastrously. So they tried to do, so they're like, I know, let's kick kids with cancer.
Right.
So they I'm sorry, I'm not laughing.
No,
They're so awful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're so awful.
Yeah.
I am running out of ways to describe this Republican Party. So they were like, those kids with cancer, here's a new... They're the only people that watch the St. Jude's commercial and go, what a bunch of losers.
Yeah.
That
Pick
Caleb
yourselves
is a
up.
big bag of
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
stupid St. Jude's kids. I mean, what kind of people?
Lazy kids that don't get out of their wheelchair.
Yeah.
So then, all right. But they need Democratic votes, which is how this started in the first place. This is exactly like the immigration bill, right? That Trump tells them kill it. It's a bipartisan bill. They blow it up. And okay, so this is what's happening. So they need Democrats to pass anything. And with the debt ceiling, Trump has no idea what he's talking about.
Nope.
Like, he ran up more, as many people as he ran up more debt than any president ever in 4 years.
And he wants to run up more.
Well, yes, with tax cuts for billionaires like President Musk.
That's right.
And so, like, what? But then where's the? I can't even. What's the point of even printing a stack? It changes every 4 seconds.
I know,
Is anything
I'm
new
sorry.
happening? Trump demanded Congress either abolish
Or
its debt limit or push its expiration date to as far as 2029
Right.
in an ultimatum hours after. Okay.
Right. Mike Johnson did come out this morning and say, he stepped out to the cameras and said, we have a plan.
Do they?
Yes.
Is it a concept of a plan or is it an actual?
That's all he said. So we'll see what happens.
I think their
Pastiche of
concept
notions.
is to get rid of him. Is what the
Yeah,
concept
that is.
is
That's
presently.
A big one, yeah.
Yes, okay, so Trump yesterday said there won't be anything approved unless the debt ceiling is done with, and if we don't get it, we're going to have a shutdown. It'll be a Biden shutdown because shutdowns only inure to the person who's president. Oh, he just says it out loud.
Yeah.
In reality, polls have shown for years voters tend to blame the party responsible for the. I'm not even sure they can spin this. I mean,
Right.
they will. in the
and
right-wing ecosphere. But I mean,
Right.
Seriously, I swear to God, I smell like a revolution, brewing.
Oh,
If
yeah.
the richest man in the world, who is not even from here, it tells you, oh, you can get through Christmas with no paycheck. Hey, screw you. Most of us can't afford a $400 emergency.
Right.
And he's like, oh, you'll be fine.
Right.
You don't need to get paid during Christmas.
And
Your grandma doesn't need that greedy $1,200 a
Right.
month.
And-
I mean, a guy that's worth $400 billion and Americans are just going to take it?
And most rent and mortgage payments are due on the 1st, coming up.
Don't
here.
I know it?
Yeah. So
me.
this is really going to hurt a lot of people.
Excuse me. Yeah, I was trying to even understand because I don't think he understands anything. Didn't he not recently call for the Electoral College to be abolished? And we're like, great.
Yeah.
Like, I think he's confused. Like, he doesn't even know that that's not what Republicans want. Like,
Right.
Republicans generally only win because of the Electoral College. He
Certainly
eked out a
recently.
popular vote
Yeah.
victory this time, but I don't think he knows anything on any subject. The debt ceiling, weren't they the ones? Mm-hmm. Okay. Yes, he called for abolishing the federal debt limit altogether, offering to lead the charge on an idea championed in the past by some Democrats, but
Yeah.
fiercely opposed by the GOP. One reporter said Trump sees it as a fake thing, no real value regarding debt control. Well, right, not when you're the guy that's run up the most debt in American history and you're getting ready to run it up some more. Wait, who's our friend? Joe Walsh. Hold, please. Everybody hold, please.
Our friend,
Yes,
Joe
Joe
Walsh.
Walsh said just to... He's still a frown. Listen, I'll take anyone
All
that's
right.
still in a fight, if you know what I mean. Joe Walsh said, just a reminder, Donald Trump added more to the national debt in his 4-year term, both in real dollars and as a percentage increase than any other president in American history did in any 4-year term. Speaking of all of the promises he's made, remember him saying we can get rid of the debt very quickly. We're going to get rid of the debt for my first year. Remember he said that the last time? Going to get rid of the debt. Instead, I can't. Okay. You know what? I think I'll read a hate letter. Just
Okay.
because.
Oh, yay.
Because you know what? It's Christmas. Lots of
It
people are
is.
being anyway. I don't. Okay, this guy I guess is a frequent.
Oh, he
He
emails
sends
all the
frequent
time.
notes.
Oh, all,
Oh,
the
he
Yeah.
has notes?
He seems nice.
all the time.
Yeah.
All right.
So from my perspective, nothing is funny, and it seems like a long time till anything will be. The state of liberal talk radio in a shambles. Frankly, I enjoy the Airheads R Us radio show,
That's
aka
us.
the Stephanie Miller show.
Oh.
We're actually the only one he likes, and he's really mean about everybody else.
He did
He's
say he
not nice
enjoyed
to
us.
either.
Yes, he enjoys the Airheads R Us show.
Well, small victories.
That's all you're going to read?
Small victories. To whom it may concern. Who does it concern, Chris?
Absolutely nobody in this room.
Thank you. Okay. You know why? Because we're in a Christmas mood. Because we're the Christmas chipmunks, and we don't care what you say.
Right.
All right, you chipmunks. Ready to sing your song?
I'll say we are. Christmas Trump again is near. Time he'll rule with hate and fear. We were good, but we fell short and screwed by the Supreme Court. We all voted Kamala. I'm moving to Canada. We're boarding now in Group 8. Departure, don't be late.
Very good. And he is Time's Person of the Year.
He's a person who should be doing time.
We don't want to overdo
What
it.
do you mean overdo it? We want him in jail. Why do we have to go through this all the time? That's a criminal.
We get you guys in here. We have a nice Russia investigation.
Thank you, Rocky Mountain Mike. Yeah, to my point, Robert Reich said, if the government shuts down Saturday, the richest man in the world will largely be to blame. You may not get access to services you depend on just before the holidays because an unelected billionaire shadow president wanted it that way. If this is an oligarchy, I don't know what is. I'm telling you, we may have an uprising before. They're not even in yet. And this is what's happening. Oh, Hillary Clinton. I forget, Chris, when has she been right?
All the time.
Always, about everything. She said if you're just catching up, the Republican Party taking orders from the world's richest man is on course to shut down the government over the holidays, stopping paychecks for our troops and nutrition benefits for low-income families just in time for Christmas. Congratulations. Yes. Oh, Claire McCaskill said, does Vice President Trump know that President Musk is opposed to all the spending Trump promised in the campaign? Oh, this is going to be a clown show of epic proportions. And Mike, one last one. Elon Musk is worth $400 billion, yet he doesn't think you deserve your monthly Social Security that you paid into your whole life. Tell me that is not a revolution in the making.
Yep.
We are going to go South Korea on their ass in a minute. I
Yep.
mean, seriously.
Yep.
And I have to say, for the moment, I guess they control the. Someone was talking this morning about this stupid, the mainstream media is as pathetic as they are, and then they do a poll going, "Oh, majority approve of the way Trump's handling the transition." You're like, what? He has, proposed one wildly unqualified, psychotic national security threat after another for his cabinet, but. As they were saying, a lot of it, maybe it's the holidays post-election. A lot of people checked out. A lot of people aren't watching mainstream media. They're not even paying attention. So it's our job. Rest up. Do what you love with who you love. Get in shape. Get ready for the resistance in January. We will be back here January 6th. Today is our last day before vacation. Enjoy lovely year-in review best ofs, won't you?
I mean, get ready for a lot of, pre-election talk.
Sure. Back when we were younger and happier. And there was still hope
It's going to sound a little weird now, but
It will
enjoy.
No, you know what? Because Kamala Harris gave an amazing speech yesterday, and she said, I ask of you, you not walk away, you not give up. We cannot afford despair now. We cannot afford cynicism. All right. I'm cynical about cynicism. Okay, we still have a big Friday free vacation show. Glenn Kushner, John Fugel saying, and Dean Obadala, all on the big shoe. Frangela's already in the air.
Yeah, they're flying.
Yes. 18 minutes after the hour.
it's a trip.
Ha ha ha. It is the Stephanie Miller Show. Have some cheese, won't you? Have some Christmas cheese.
Yes.
Jeff Tiedrich writes, what if we gave an erratic gazillionaire free reign to clown America's government? How long would it take him to run it into a ditch and set it on fire? It's a question no one asked, but nonetheless, we now know the answer. Less than 24 hours to make America into an exploding Tesla. Congratulations.
Well,
All right. Karen in Chicago. Hello, boo-boo-foo.
Hello, good morning. First of all, before I slam into the hard break, I just want to wish everybody a very safe and happy, healthy holiday season.
Thank you.
Find your joy, and we'll get in the fight afterwards.
That's right.
So I hope everybody has some plans to rest and relax. I want to say, yeah, this is not only a coup from without, it's from within.
Yeah.
There have been, all of these billionaires, Peter Thiel, Elon Musk, Vladimir Putin. These people are getting exactly what they want to get. And they have had the accomplices that they've always had.
It is a party of traitors. They are now controlled by both Putin and Elon Musk, who also is doing Putin's bidding. I mean, they will do anything for power because Putin and Musk helped them get power. So now they're, it is just extraordinary. Yeah.
It is extraordinary. And it's like, unfortunately, I think that we are going to have to go through some short-term hurt in order to get some long-term gain. And I'm glad to see that the Democrats fighting the way they are. And it cannot be said enough by Democrats. Every single time a vote goes down and it doesn't get passed, they need to be saying, it's a Republican majority. They have everything.
Yeah.
Anything that doesn't pass, this is their fault, and just do not go along with anything. They have to obstruct.
I don't know if their cult will buy anything, but are they really going to buy it's Joe Biden's fault? Joe Biden's not involved in this at all. But I guess there's a section of the cult. They just know in advance will believe anything that they say. But it really is. I was just, these tweets are also great about, Cadet said, wondering why no one has told Elon Musk to go back to Africa yet. Yeah, just this whole thing that they ran on, deporting people that are not from here, right? Oh, this is what Alex Cole said. Trump was right about one thing. Immigrants are taking jobs away from Americans. Elon's just took his job. I mean, are Americans really going to be okay with an unelected billionaire not from here taking your Social Security that you worked your whole life for? I mean, it's, who is this? A tweet said, the owner of a car company is now controlling the country through a social media app that he bought. I mean, one last one. Nani says, Elon Musk is the greatest welfare queen. Tesla, SpaceX, Neuralink would not exist if it weren't for billions of taxpayer money. I mean, tell me that is not a revolution in the making, right? That we gave him, that he's the socialist welfare queen, that we gave him all this money to be the richest man in the world, and now he's trying to take away. And before Christmas, he's like, oh, everybody will be fine for 3 weeks. You'll be fine for 3 weeks. A lot of people will not be.
Right.
Sorry, I'm screaming. Lucretia in Milwaukee, hello.
Oh, great. Now I'm going to be the one that's going to be slammed up against a sexy hard break.
You have a total hard 1 minute. Go ahead.
Okay. So I did want to add to that. Yes, I agree that, it's like you have a unofficial oligarch running this. And the things that, there's no doubt in my mind, all that money that he poured into his campaign to help him win, I feel like he's holding that over him as a puppet, like, hey, I helped you win this. You calm down, and I will run some things from the sidelines. And even with this bullcrap Doge department, even if it might exist, they're still not in the White House. So not only is he Putin's bitch, but also Alania Musty. But I'll say Merry Christmas to all of you guys. A Happy New Year. And Kate, if you're listening, I forgot to give you a shout out. Thank you for being there during the election when I was sitting there losing my shizzle. With that being said, you guys are fantastic. Have a great fucking day.
Oh, did she just? Yes, she did do that. She dropped us an F-bomb for Christmas. Okay, thank you, Sweaty Church Whore. Okay. Glenn Kirshner coming up.
talking about repeal and replace Obamacare, whether or not you're talking about the 4 years of the Donald Trump presidency that were just lathered with chaos, or whether or not you're talking about this microcosm. I appreciate the fact that we're saying come together and get a deal, but they can't lead. And the fact is they're being governed by tweet right now. And I love how my Republican colleagues, including the President of the United States, say, the future President of the United States, say they won in a landslide. Well, in all actuality, they have the narrowest House majority in the history of the United States Congress. They have the second smallest, presidential popular vote margin. The only one that was closer was Bush v. Gore. I mean, and in the swing states, you had individuals that were down ballot who actually carried the Senate, save for Pennsylvania. And so I love how they believe this. They're going to overplay their hand.
Yep, absolutely. Thank you, Bakari Sellers. Speaking of democracy warriors, thank God. There's U.S. Attorney Glenn Kirshner is here. Get me Glenn Kirshner. Glenn Kirshner. Former 30-year federal prosecutor Glenn Kirshner.
I can listen to him talk all day.
Who has answered the call for his country once again.
Glenn Kirshner.
MSNBC legal analyst Glenn Kirshner.
On the Stephanie Miller Show all day.
Piercing blue-eyed Glenn Kirshner.
We got that Glenn Kirshner now, and I feel okay.
Yeah. Hi, good morning, Glenn Kirshner.
Good morning, Steph.
I can only hope that this blistering incompetence will also carry over into them trying to revenge prosecute people. Because, I mean, this is unbelievable. We're not even, it's like a month from now before they're even actually in. And this is what we're seeing, right?
The dysfunction and infighting will be spectacular. And if this is possible, they'll accomplish even less than they accomplished during the first 2 years of Trump's first term.
And we were saying, thank you, Chris Murphy. I think it was on TV. It was saying, because here we are again, part of how we got here, the mainstream media, he said, all of them are reporting this Liz Cheney thing as if there's some there, when there is absolutely nothing there. There is no crime, no evidence. I mean, it is chilling. If you look at somebody using an interim report ordered by Donald Trump to predicate prosecution of Liz Cheney for doing her job. Right.
And Steph, I don't wish vindictive prosecutions on anyone, obviously. However, one of the reasons I am not in favor of pardoning the innocent, like Liz Cheney, because she committed no crime, I would love to see Donald Trump's weaponized Department of Justice try to prosecute Liz Cheney based on no evidence, because the trial court judges, the federal trial court judges in Washington, D.C. will figuratively cram that vindictive prosecution down Trump and his attorney general's throats. And that's what I think should be exposed to the public.
Yeah. One expert said the same thing. There is nothing there. The report should not in any way be viewed as a pretext or any sort of foundation for prosecutors to zoom in on criminal charges for Cheney. The part that recommends criminal charges against Cheney is remarkably unspecific and way off base. The basis that they allege is that Liz Cheney had secret communications with a witness. And he said, what's she supposed to do? She's an investigator. She's part of an investigative committee. This is what you do.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And that investigation was run by a good friend and former RICO prosecutor colleague of mine, Tim Heafy. He was the chief investigative counsel. You saw him in lots and lots of interviews. And, he ran that investigation exactly as it should have been run. He did nothing wrong. His staff did nothing wrong. And goodness knows, Liz Cheney and the other members of the January 6th committee not only did nothing wrong, they did everything right, because they exposed the crimes of Donald Trump and his corrupt associates to the American people. And that actually resulted in criminal grand juries in Washington, D.C. indicting Donald Trump. So this louder milk character, I don't know what his background is, but what a bunch of nonsense.
Well, and I think he has a personal grudge because he was one of the people caught on tape giving tours right before January 6th. I mean, so as another analyst said, people were just doing their jobs. There are protections that make this whole thing a complete empty promise. It's atmospherics and posturing, but it's still effective if your goal is simply to deter others and be a bully in the future. People are going to run scared. It's a very effective way of undermining your enemy if you're talking about gangland politics, which is the politics Trump knows. That's what it is. It's trying to get people to, whether it's self-deport, whether it's not criticize if you're in the media, if, I mean, on and on. It's to have a chilling effect, isn't it? Or that you'll go broke. you know?
It is. All of this is designed to chill people into silence and submission. And for most of us, I don't think we will be chilled into silence and submission. Interestingly, it feels like it could even be defamatory what Loudermilk is trying to claim against Liz Cheney. But one of the problems is because he's going to say, I have speech or debate clause protections, which lets me say anything I want with complete immunity from prosecution, which, you know, you have to wonder, is it time to stop giving elected officials the ability to crime with complete impunity and immunity? That doesn't seem to be a smart way to run a government.
Yeah, and weren't they always the party against frivolous lawsuits? I mean, how many are they going to file? And then, you know, now we're playing whack-a-mole. Are we going to get, you know, some Trump hack judge like Aileen Cannon that they're going to get lucky with? You know, I mean, one thing Mark Elias said is, you know, the Supreme Court only takes, what, like 75 cases or something a year, so they can't all go to Trump's Supreme Court, I guess. I mean, but man, justice is in a precarious position this morning, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. The rule of law is on life support, and nothing troubles me more as a former career prosecutor than to see sort of accountability nowhere to be found for crimes that Donald Trump was indicted for, crimes that Donald Trump has been found guilty of up in New York, and we're still waiting to see which way that thing is going to fall.
Yeah.
But, you know, at some point, Steph, I think we will come back into the light, and I think Republican dysfunction and incompetence is going to be perhaps one of the best bulwarks from, you know, here on out until some rational people come back into power.
Well, and here's an important part of the resistance. NBC reporting lawyers and pro-democracy advocates are in the early stages of building a nationwide network of specialists aimed at defending and protecting people who may be targeted for retribution once Trump takes office. That's going to be a key pillar, isn't it, of the resistance?
Absolutely. Lots of my friends and former colleagues are among the best of the best criminal white-collar defense attorneys in Washington, D.C. I've talked to many of them, and they are standing ready to handle any vindictive prosecutions that Donald Trump and what will probably be his corrupt attorney general, we don't know who will be confirmed to that position, try to bring against Donald Trump's political foes. And I'm telling you, they're going to fail spectacularly in court. Donald Trump, in my opinion, may have his AG try to bring one or two marquee vindictive prosecutions against, you know, well-known figures, Liz Cheney, Jack Smith, and they're going to go down in flames. And that, Steph, that will have a chilling effect, hopefully, and we'll see an end to this, you know, vindictive prosecution parade.
Let's talk about it. Speaking of, we did miss the Matt Gaetz Attorney General bullets, but let's talk about happy news. You said once we read the Gaetz ethics report today, it will be interesting to see exactly what Representative Mike Johnson wanted to conceal from the American people and the voters of Florida, and even more interesting to see exactly what kind of person Trump not wanted as Attorney General. Any idea what time that's being released today?
I think it's before Congress flees town for the holidays. They still have to, you know, fund the government, minor details, right? So I think we're going to see it today or perhaps this weekend. But here's the thing. There's a third. I did a Justice Matters video on this. Those are two of the most important things that we're going to learn from the report. Okay, exactly who did Donald Trump want to inflict on this nation as his Attorney General? Let's learn more about Matt Gaetz and his misdeeds. But here's the other thing. I really want to see if there's evidence that crimes were committed by Matt Gaetz, we have to go after both sides if they drop the ball. And I want to see if there is evidence of crimes. Why in the world the Department of Justice under Merrick Garland's leadership didn't prosecute him? But first things first, let's see what we learn in that report.
Yeah, well, he was too busy prosecuting Hunter Biden. Okay, sorry. Stephanie Louise. Okay. So I hate to bring bad news up, but your friend Kimberly Atkins tweeted, in the opinion of these GOP-appointed judges in Georgia, they admit the law does not support this outcome, but they did it anyway. They made up a special rule just for Fani Willis, but please keep wagging your fingers at black women as if we're the problem. I mean, you know, I guess I shouldn't be surprised. It's a Republican-controlled blah, blah, blah. But to talk a little bit about this.
Yeah, so a three-judge panel, but importantly, it was a split decision, Steph. Two of the judges said Fani Willis has to be removed from heading up the RICO prosecution of Donald Trump and his co-conspirators. One judge, the dissenting judge, and this is why I always urge everybody read the dissenting opinion. His name is Benjamin Land. He said, for the last 43 years, the appellate courts of Georgia have held that an appearance of conflict is not enough. And then he said what the court did by removing her based on an appearance of conflict only with no actual conflict actually violates Georgia law. We have no authority to do it. None, period. Those are his words. This one is far from over, Steph, because first, Fani Willis's office is going to ask for an en banc, a full court review of this unsupportable opinion. Then it goes to the Georgia State Supreme Court. I could easily see this being overturned, but let's not forget the one big bright point of light. Even this two-judge majority opinion said, oh, the prosecution can continue. You're going to have to get another Georgia County attorney to oversee it. So this thing is far from over, but it is a setback.
I mean, but it is incredible because this is the one that's on tape.
Right.
This is the crime we have on tape. Slam dunk. If you're the prosecutor, right? I mean, and by the way, there's a whole article about people blaming Fani Willis. This was an unforced error. This was an own goal. I can't hear it. It's so ridiculous. Again, as we keep saying, if it was the judge, if it was a witness, if it was, okay. I'm just saying we can go back forever about, attorneys that work together that might have had a relationship at some point. And what does this have to do with the very obvious crimes of Donald Trump, right?
Nothing, especially when Judge McAfee ruled there was no conflict. There may have been an appearance problem, and that's why he said, well, Nathan Wade can step away from the case. That will cure the appearance problem. And he did. And this appellate court opinion, I think, is very likely to fall.
Yeah, but we're getting a taste of the, prosecute the prosecutors, I mean, it's so before we go, I just wanted to, because we have a California connection now to this tragedy in Madison. I don't know what all you've heard, because I know we were saying that there was a manifesto that's floating around, but it hasn't been confirmed yet that it was from this 15-year-old shooter in Madison. But a California man was detained by the FBI, ordered to have his gun seized after he communicated with the 15-year-old shooter. So this guy's only 20. The FBI detained him after he was discovered plotting a mass shooting with the Madison, Wisconsin shooter. He admitted to FBI agents that he told her that he would arm himself with explosives and a gun and he would target a government building. Again, I don't want to jump to conclusions, but it's just 99% or whatever of our violence, as Chris Wray told us, it's right-wing extremism. And generally, it's, we're back to Tim McVeigh with targeting government buildings. I don't know if you heard anything more than we've heard thus far.
I haven't. But, when are we going to take the domestic threat seriously? Because that is the very real threat of undermining the continued, not only health of our democracy, but viability of our democracy. If we let, domestic terrorists, domestic extremists kill us from within. And, if that's not something that we don't address, we're just giving it all away. And I don't think, I don't think we should be giving our democracy away.
Yeah, absolutely. Glenn, Merry Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa. We're going to miss you over the holidays. We'll see you in January.
Yeah, happy holidays. Have a great holiday season, everybody.
All right, honey. We'll see you in January. There he goes. 40.
Bye, Steph. See you guys.
Bye.
Mwah. paying all of Trump's bills. Does that mean Trump is Musk's first lady? Oh, that might Donald Trump even more. That does. You're right, Dean. That does make Trump the first lady. I hope that doesn't emasculate him in any way. First lady, Donald Trump. Okay. Thank you. Oh no, she twint with a good point. I know this is the least of our problems, but I can't believe we have to listen to Trump pronounce China like the second syllable of vagina for the next however many years.
China.
Mm-hmm. You know what? That makes my
China.
hurt. Okay.
Oh, you got sand in your
China.
Yeah, thank you. Adam, are you really in Bangladesh? Hello, Adam. Adam. All right.
Oh.
I feel perhaps he was not in Bangladesh.
You feel shenanigans?
I feel shenanigans, yes. All right, let's go to 13, Representative Swalwell, Alpha Liberal. Thank you, with Alex Wagner on this.
But Congressman Swalwell, do you think that their plan now is just to say the Democrats did this, go home, and then let federal government employees just work through the holiday season with no paychecks? I mean, is it about finger pointing at this stage, or do you think there's actually some negotiation that still has yet to happen?
There's no plan, there's no competence, and that's the problem with someone like Musk horning his way in. Is he wants government to be efficient? And by the way, I do think it's interesting that the Department of Government Efficiency has two people who are running it. Like, it turns out that may not be the best way to be the most efficient.
That's not, what's the word, efficient?
Right.
Yes.
Also, by the way, I want you to know, I was with a few Republicans yesterday as Musk was, rage tweeting and giving his orders. And they were completely apoplectic.
Yeah.
And I told one of them, I said, if you let him do this, if he does this and you don't stand up to him now, he's going to own you for the next Congress. And every bill that's on the floor, you're going to wait around on cots to see what Elon Musk says you're allowed to do. And that's no way to represent the people who sent you here.
I could be naive. I do not think America is going to stand for this. Okay. This is Abby Phillip and, excuse me, wait a minute, who am I talking about? Yeah, Julie Roginski on CNN.
He put his foot down and said, vote for this bill, and they didn't.
Well, Scott, you break it, you own it, my friend. It's the Party Bar rule. And
Like
that's
what?
Break the system. You got broke it. You broke it. How did you break it?
Yeah.
You got everything you wanted. You have full control of everything now.
Well, we're not, we have to take office.
But even before you have full control, you have control of the House. You guys showed that you can't even govern when you have control of one House. I can't wait to see what's going to happen. You have control of
Where's
all
your party?
Yeah, he is such an annoying douche, Scott
He is.
Jennings. Ugh.
He is. So I'm going to sit back and I'm going to drink my martini, sit back, and watch the chaos.
Is that what Democrats in Washington are doing? Because they all but two of them voted to shut down the government.
No. Excuse me. Democrats.
They did. They voted against the system.
Democrats could have uniformly voted to shut everything down, and you guys still would have been able to do it because you're in the majority.
Talking about drinking martinis.
Because you're in the majority. You're in the majority.
Do
my
you not
friend.
have any governing responsibility on a 2/3 vote?
No, we do have a governing majority, and it's called a deal that was.
I'm only
cut.
moderately good at math.
It was called a deal that was cut, and then you guys decided to walk away from it.
The part of this that I don't understand. I mean, look, I got the politics of blaming Democrats, but the practicality of it is that the speaker decided to take a deal that he had with Democrats, throw it out the window, put another deal that he did not negotiate with them on the table.
Thank you. Steffi tweets, so we're totally back to watching the What Fresh Hell Will Happen Today show for the next 4 years. Yep, strap in. 58 minutes after the hour, John Fugelsang coming up.
Welcome to Caffeinated, where we focus on the parts of a story that really matter by showing compassion to the opposing side. Take, if you will, Steve Bannon, the man who said, "Darkness is good." Darth Vader, Dick Cheney, Satan, that's power. Who published the op-ed, "Birth Control Makes Women Unattractive and Crazy," and many other op-eds for Breitbart, most of which read better in the original German. Who warned the media should keep their mouth shut, and that same media can't stop desperately trying to book him on all their shows. You guys, seriously, I'm a little worried about Steve Bannon. Not because he brazenly defied a congressional subpoena about his role in the terrorist attacks on our nation's capital of January 6, 2021, wagging his junk at it, citing executive privilege, even though he'd been fired by the White House back in January 2017 and was working at the time of said attack as a podcaster, and not because he's a white supremacist who published a lot of white supremacist articles and supported the border wall and the Muslim ban and lots of authoritarian dictators, and who actually did say that cities could be washed away in an orgy of de-gentrification. No, I'm worried about Steve Bannon because the man looks like an alcoholic Thom. Have you seen this guy? He looks like a sack of pus that developed rickets. He looks like gout that caught gout. The man does not look well. Yeah, that's Steve Bannon, the one who was arrested on a Chinese billionaire's yacht and indicted by a federal grand jury for wire fraud and money laundering because he was ripping off Trump supporters donating to his Build the Wall campaign, and then Trump pardoned him for ripping off his own MAGA faithful. That guy. Is he okay? I'm just worried because Steve Bannon looks like a guy who was up watching porn till 6:45 a.m. and his alarm was set for 7. He looks like the guy in the office that HR has to physically give a deodorant stick to after one too many coworker complaints. He looks like a diseased leprechaun freebasing in the Port Authority bus terminal men's room. But we need to put aside our petty differences and recognize that this is clearly a fellow human being who is in pain. Can we do that? Do we have the humanity to reach out with love to Steve Bannon? Because he looks like the guy in the zombie movie who doesn't want the other survivors to know he got bit in the last scene. He looks like an infected toe. He looks like that uncle who comes over and smells of cigarettes and cat piss and always wants you to sit on his lap, but you're 15. I'm just worried about the guy is all I'm saying. And yes, I know his wife alleges he physically abused her and wouldn't let their kids go to school with Jewish children. I know YouTube has taken down his videos because they glorify violence, and Facebook took down his videos for glorifying violence, and Twitter has banned him for glorifying violence. And I know he said that Mussolini was a guy's guy who had amazing fashion sense. He said that. But in fairness, lots of people who aren't fascists praise Mussolini's style. But I am asking you to look into your hearts and find some compassion. Because Steve Bannon looks like a guy whose parole officer makes him knock on every door and introduce himself whenever he moves to a new neighborhood. He looks like Pigpen the Hutt. Steve Bannon looks like a guy who was just forced to drive cross-country in a small car with no ventilation and the windows rolled up while sitting next to Steve Bannon. He's not a healthy man. We are just concerned because he looks like he just ate 20 pounds of cheese and it's coming out of his facial pores. And by the way, I know what you're thinking. What right do I have to make fun of Steve Bannon's appearance when I look like Joe Exotic's mullet donor? It's true, I still have my pandemic hair, but I know it. See, number one, I accept that I look like the love child of Beethoven and Loki. I look like John Wick during a nationwide Moroccan oil shortage. But number two, I'm just concerned about him. So while you cynically fixate on the fact that he called the Civil War the War of Southern Independence, or that he looks like physical proof that white supremacists are the greatest argument against the concept of white supremacy. And he said that conservative women are better than progressive women because, and I quote, they're not a bunch of dykes that came from the Seven Sisters School up in New England. You ask, how can Steve Bannon sleep at night? I say, in a puddle of his own sick. But that's mean. We gotta be the good guys and look after him and make sure he's okay. Because he looks like a police sketch artist rendition of mutated gonorrhea. And that's why we're starting Steve Pack. Your selfless donation, MAGA fans, of $100 or more will allow us to buy multiple shirts for Steve Bannon, all of which he can wear at the same time. Then, when he vomits Jägermeister up on the top shirt, he can simply remove it and continue his broadcast. So if you see Steve Bannon, put aside your differences and offer him your hand. But you know to wash it, like right away. Like wash that shit. And don't touch your face either, okay? Just offer your hand, but then soak the entire hand in bleach for half a day. Soak the whole arm in bleach for half a day. Thank you. Please like and subscribe. And remember, if Donald Trump pardons Steve Bannon for stealing from white nationalist Trump supporters, maybe we should thank Trump for setting Steve free to continue his fine patriotic work.
that you will not walk away, that you will stay true to your spirit and your sense of purpose, that you will continue to fight for the promise of America. And I ask you to remember the context in which you exist. Yeah, I did that. I ask you to remember that this struggle is not new. It goes back nearly 250 years to Lexington and Concord.
Have I mentioned that I love her so much?
Yes.
Okay, that would be common. She made a coconut joke. That's what she was doing. Okay. See, don't let them take your joy. Okay.
Generation after generation, it has been driven by those who love our country, cherish its ideals, and refuse to sit passive while our ideals are under assault. And now this fight to keep the light of America's promise and to ensure it burns bright, well, this fight now, it continues with you. You are its heirs. We are its heirs.
Wow. Did we F up? Man, oh man.
The true test of our commitment is whether, in the face of an obstacle, do we throw up our hands or do we roll up our sleeves? And as we approach...
okay.
So I'll end with this. Get some rest over the holidays. Spend time with the people you love.
That's right.
You know, I believe family comes in many forms. There's family by blood and there's family by love. I urge you, then, after you have had some rest, in fact, I challenge you to come back ready to chart our path to the future. Chin up, shoulders back, forever impatient for change.
Yep, absolutely. And one last one, the president of my heart.
And like Sasha, ready to summon your drive, your energy, your passion to help our fellow Americans and be ready to get back to work, fighting for opportunity and freedom, fighting for fairness and dignity, and fighting for this country we love and the future we share. God bless you, and God bless the United States of America.
God bless you, Madam President. Okay, I'm fine. Hey, speaking of family, my big sister Mary's coming. We're having a big party for her.
Yeah.
Huh? We're having a holiday party. Anyway, she's a fantastic progressive warrior in North Carolina. She wrote me a letter. You're going to love this stuff. I just learned I'm one of the 60,000 voters whose ballot North Carolina Republican Appeals Court Judge Jefferson Griffin is challenging in his unsuccessful bid to unseat North Carolina Democratic incumbent Supreme Court Justice Allison Riggs. Me, of all people, as a registered unaffiliated voter, I've cast a ballot in all 33 elections, primary, general, and municipal, since we moved here in 2004. Couldn't be more politically active. Have served as an assistant judge for years, checking in election day voters, etc. I have no clue what the basis is. I'd simply laugh if it didn't infuriate me so much over the frivolity and cost this challenge is costing. I want to tell Griffin to his face, get a life. You're still an appeals court judge till 2028, and you can run for the Supreme Court again if you want. Jeez. Gotta love North Carolina politics.
Yeah.
And my sister will say that to her face if she ever gets an opportunity. She is a warrior princess. But anyway, then she includes democracy docket, because Mark Elias is talking about the effery that they're trying to do. They're just such whiny, sore loser victims, I'm telling you. Okay, I hesitated to bring this up again, but speaking of which, we mentioned yesterday Uh-oh. Okay, first of all, stop retweeting Lindy Lee on Fox News. Don't give her a platform. Like, I'm sorry, but what a shameless mercenary. She was saying, oh, the Democratic Party, they want me investigated and deported. That is not true. She's just playing victim now. Aaron Rupar said Lindy Lee escalated her rhetoric against Democrats even more later in this interview, calling the party a cult. Oh, I'm sorry. Democrats are a cult. It's not MAGA. Oh, my God. The gaslighting continues and saying, I'm done with that. She sounds like a typical MAGA Republican now. I was saying earlier how apparently she said, oh, I'm free to speak the truth now. Democrats failed on the border. Oh, my God. She said on this show how many times Trump and Republicans are the one that blew up that, the bipartisan border deal, just like they did to the spending thing that's going to shut the government down. It's just...
He's an opportunist.
It is personally and professionally disappointing, but I agree with people because people are tweeting some of her Fox things and then commenting. Just don't give her a platform. Sorry, I has a mad. Okay.
You has a mad?
He has a mad.
Okay.
Oh, another speaking Fox News, Scooter Cons tweeted, Neil Cavuto is leaving Fox News after almost 3 decades. Reasons for his retirement include his declining health, but Cavuto also cited his guilt over his shabby treatment of Stephanie Miller in a series of appearances almost 15 years ago.
That's right.
That's exactly why he's quitting now.
Thank you, Scooter. Yes.
He's the one who scolded you.
Yes, he did an entire segment scolding me the day after I was on the show.
Right.
Said I was just showing off for my liberal friends.
Uh-huh.
Were you?
I wasn't.
Kind of.
I legitimately never wanted to be invited back on Fox News. I'm like the anti-Lindy Lee. I said everything to never get invited back on Fox News, and that time it worked.
It did. You haven't been back.
I took several tries. Like they would keep they would put me on the bench and then have me back, and then I would blow it up again.
Yep.
I'm like, listen, I don't want to make this drive in rush hour anyway. So.
Well, they sent you a car. You got a nice
Still
car
a long
ride.
drive.
You got a car ride.
Still a long drive. It's annoying.
Yeah, because they're way over in Westwood
wherever.
or Brentwood or something.
I was like,
Yeah.
Right, and the what do you call it? The premise of the segments is always designed to make the liberal look like an idiot. I'm just like, yeah. Okay. Francis, a friend in Upstate, says, good morning, Steph, Jody, Chris. I've been thinking hard since Kimberly was on Monday morning. The only thing I'm interested in manifesting at the moment is a precisely placed clot. Merry Christmas. Francis Louise.
we
Francis
don't do that.
We don't know even what you're referring to.
Yeah, we do.
Are we referring to his judicious McDonald's diet?
No, we don't know what anybody's referring to. Someone said, Lord, I don't ask for a lot for Christmas. I'm just asking for one very specific myocardial infarction anytime before January 20th. I don't know what they were talking about either. I have no idea.
No, not at all.
Bitch, please, Origin. Oh, God.
Oh, Lord.
Someone's trying to give us a Christmas gift.
Are we still doing this?
Yes, Curtis says, Steph, I love you, and so does all of Chicago.
Oh.
I love you
city,
back,
nice.
Chicago.
All of Chicago?
All of
Whole
Chicago.
city. Wow.
He took a poll. Unfortunately, everyone has been misled as to seeking the origin of the Bitch Please clip. The entire clip can be heard once you slow down the speed of Alvin and the Chipmunks singing holiday songs and replay them backwards.
That's it. He's got it.
I think that is incorrect.
It's Theodore that says, bitch, please.
Exactly.
Dan from Binghamton on the Island of Misfit Stephanie Miller show. Steph, on the Island of Misfit Stephanie Miller show toys, wouldn't you be the Stephanie in the box? Or at least you used to be. Oh, Dan. It's been a long time since I've been a Stephanie in the box.
No child wants to play with a Charlie in the box.
No, we decided Jody is the emotionally disturbed rage doll. And I'm the gun that shoots grape jelly. And you're the train with square wheels.
I'm more the gay elf that wanted to be a dentist.
All right. Speaking of love and Christmas, Cindy says, Steph, is it possible for me to buy a StephCast on my phone, but gift it to my husband on his phone? We listened to the first half of your show in bed. Oh, wow. Oh. Then I get out of bed to get ready for work. My husband's such a fan of yours that then I have to turn up the volume on the phone so he can hear the show from the bathroom. I'd like to listen to the show from his phone so he doesn't miss a second of it after I head downstairs for coffee and head off to work. This is a lot of detail about your morning, Cindy. We love you, Chris and Jody, and we wish you a very Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. And here's the answer, Cindy.
Yes.
Yes, the answer is yes. You can gift a StephCast.
Yes. Also, get a Bluetooth speaker so you don't have to listen to it on the phone.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Those are great.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also, we appreciate the people that have donated. You can just go to support the show at StephanieMiller.com. People have given very generous holiday gifts to help. We have a whole thing now that we need a new doohickey that might need another.
Yeah, and I have a bit of an update.
Thing that, updates are never good news around here.
break.
Okay,
Yeah,
but we
especially
thank you
that.
for your generosity. Another way you can help is, by the way, because someone asked me, we were so proud of our friends Allison Gill, Dana Goldberg, the Daily Beans is in the top 10 podcasts. So someone was asking me, how come you guys aren't in the, let me explain. We work way harder than those slacker podcasters. We have a national radio and TV show.
3 hours a day, 5 days a week.
Right, 15 hours. This is not a podcast. Right. This is a national radio show. Right. So we do.
We repurpose parts of this show.
Yeah, the Happy Hour podcast is the best interview of the day. We do Out of the Gate, which is our opening segment. Right. So it does help us if you download those and give them 5 stars or whatever. But we are, the Steph Cast you have to buy commercial free. So we're not going to ever be on those lists of podcasts because we're not a free podcast.
Right.
The
StephCast reduces the Stephanie Miller Show down to about an hour and 50 minutes because we take out all the commercials, all the top of the hour stuff, and all of that. And so you can just listen to it when you want. You can pause it, go to the bathroom, come back to it. It'll still be at the same place.
It's like crazy inexpensive, right? $4.95 a month if you buy a year in advance, or
$5.95 a month if you buy a year.
If you buy a year in advance, and it's commercial free, you can listen whenever you want. So that's how helps support us, right?
Absolutely.
But that's why we're not considered a podcast because we are on terrestrial stations. We're on Sirius XM. We're on Free Speech TV. We're on the TuneIn app.
Focus.
We're on the Progressive Voices app. I'm just saying, we work ourselves to the bone for you, America. Podcasters, they do what, an hour a week, 2 hours a week? Bunch of C's.
Well, Allison does a lot.
She does a lot.
Well, yeah, Allison does every other podcast other than this show.
Does it add up to what we do, though?
She does.
It's not 15 hours a week.
Daily Beans is about an hour. She does that 5 days a week. And then Jack and it's not 15 hours.
Right.
But it's a good 4 or 5.
Sure.
It's a good 7 hours, which is more than most people.
That is precious. 4 or 5 hours.
I think it's 7.
That's like, look at you working in a coal mine. I'm just kidding.
No.
Don't be mean. She'll never come back on now.
I'm just being a bag of D's.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah, producing an additional extra podcast on top of what we do. We did try that for a while, but it just got to be.
Yeah. It's anyway. So but thank you for your question because it is interesting because we love and support all of these great podcasts like Allison's and I mean, Bob Seska. I mean, there are so many amazing progressive podcasters and Midas Touch and all the. So please support everybody in this progressive ecosphere, including Rocky Mountain Mike. Do we have time? I'm just telling you.
Oh, you don't have time.
No, we don't have time.
All right, I'll do it when I get back. Yeah. Or salute to Rocky Mountain Mike. Yeah. 19 minutes after the hour. Oh, Frangela, welcome. Good morning. We're about to President Musk is going to shut the government down. We're under emergency alert for bird flu out here. Good morning.
Good morning. This is what you get. This is what you get. You asked for it.
You asked for it.
Yes, they did.
Yum, 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 yum. All I'm sitting, I'm over here licking my fingers. It's so tasty.
Okay. The now and forever queens of I Told You So. Frangela is.
We told you so.
We've been telling you since 2015.
Yes.
That's the thing. Stephanie, I hate to remind people of our own wisdom, but you do remember, I know you do, that I said that one day they would find files labeled crimes we committed. And did they not?
This has never happened, right? Where they've blown up the government before they even get in?
No.
I'm even in it.
And what could possibly go wrong? No TSA, no air traffic controllers for Christmas. Yeah.
Yeah, how are we drowning before we're in the boat? You know what I mean?
You know what? I hope they shut it down. Shut it all down. I hope people are in the airports when they shut it down.
Wait, I'm gonna be at the airport. Don't.
Okay, shut this country down. I'm here for it.
Frangela are the two black women in that cartoon just having a drink, sitting on the roof, just watching everything burn. The 92% that voted for Kamala, just queens of I Told You So.
And you can come join us up on the roof, Stephanie. All y'all can, because you weren't a part of the problem either.
No, and let me tell you something. This is the issue, because after that election, if that many people could not see that this man was a danger or continued to support him, then this is what this country is asking for. This country asked to be shut down. People asked to have problems with TSA. They asked not to get their checks. They asked because if you didn't show up and vote,
Yeah.
right.
The farmers
Or
that
if you
voted for him,
voted
the people that need hurricane relief. It's just,
Yes.
Where was this? Hold, please. Hang on a second. Here's in the F around and find out stack.
Right.
There will be some cuts. Republican reveals Social Security is in Doge's crosshairs because I told you so. I told you they were coming for Social Security.
I can't cry any more tears for y'all. I can't. People, and we all know some. People who didn't vote, or they're smart enough not to say it to me, so I know that they're hiding.
Hang on, it's a big stack this morning. American businesses are waking up to the possibility that Trump isn't just bluffing when he has plans to slap massive tariffs on all foreign-produced products. Business leaders in recent weeks that have been cozying up to Trump more because of his planned tariffs say he could make their profits go poof. The people that...
well then, you know what? Keep on going down to Mar-a-Lago and
That's right.
kissing the rain. Because I want to see your profits go poof.
Ask for it.
Yeah.
Go down there and beg him to destroy your company.
Francis, in some ways, I am surprised that you knew it was going to be this bad because you apparently did not know that Candyman was not about candy, as we discussed.
You know what?
So sorry.
Y'all kill Christmas for me. You kill Christmas for me.
I'm so sorry, Francis.
I'm not okay.
We were talking about a sketch that Carol Burnett did with, Sammy Davis Jr.
Everybody, gather around. The Candy Man is here. Now, what kind of candy you want? Sweet chocolate, chocolate malt candy?
It's about nose candy.
Anything you want. You've come to the right man because I'm the Candy Man.
I'm the Candy Man, baby.
Who can take a sunrise?
Oh, my goodness.
With you. Cover it with chocolate and a miracle or two. The Candy Man.
Now, and did you also know that Magic Johnson and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar are two separate people?
They're very separate.
You know what?
Yeah.
You know what? That I think that that happened a long time ago. I should be, y'all should let that go.
Just yelling at Kareem's back.
Magic.
Turn around, he looks so confused.
I sent you guys a tweet this week about someone saying, well, eggs won't be priced lower, but at least there won't be any black ladies on Star Wars.
No.
And then you did a bunch of texts back, and I was like, you know what? My nerd blocker blocked your text out a long time ago, so I didn't even hear anything.
Stephanie Miller.
Yeah, we are. Aren't we? 25 minutes after the hour. John Fugelsang coming up. Merry Christmas from Rocky Mountain Mike.
Mike. When you finally decided to tie the knot, but you're also not ready for 4 more years of Biden, it's Bloodbath and Beyond. 14 tri-state locations, including Lakeview, Schaumburg, Downers Grove, Aurora, Elmhurst, and Skokie.
Sneakers here for sale at Benatar.
You're a fart maker, deal breaker, big maker, don't pass gas around your meat. Reunite it and it feels so good. Reunite it, go to prison, he should.
I didn't do nothing. Don't be stupid, Medinov. I need you to oversee him and make sure he doesn't screw it up.
Okay. Come, Natasha.
No, Boris, darling. I'm going to be with Trump.
My name is now Melania.
That? You must be crazy. Look what you do to yourself.
I really don't care. Do you?
And here's to you, Mr. Robinson. Jesus knows what you do with your phone and your bone. He sees that Waltz is our man. Kamala's got a plan. Waltz is a man, not a weirdo.
God said, I need somebody willing to get up before dawn, milk gags for all they're worth, spend all day making beaver jokes, milk the gags again, eat supper, then go to town, stay past midnight to get her picture taken with Cher. So God made Stephanie Miller.
Brainworms keep crawling in my head. Just like the guy who paid two hookers to be the vet. Don't know when to quit. Those brainworms are crawling in my head. They keep munching.
Don't worry if it's so big, he'll live in a van down by the river. Make it sting and go run. Make it sting and go run. Just like a mushroom, we're told. He wants Arnold Palmer's.
Mr. Wizard?
Yes.
Watch Mr. Wizard. That's what all the kids in the neighborhood call it.
Yes, that's how the show starts. But
You know what I call it? I call it grooming. Do you have an actual job? I mean, you just seem to lure children into your house to supposedly show them science.
Please leave.
Do you have any ivermectin? Maybe try some disinfectant? Maybe shine a powerful light to kill
Watch Mr. Wizard is presented each week at this time by the Public Affairs Department of NBC in hopes that some of you might grow up with some basic knowledge of science and have a fucking clue and not vote for an imbecile.
Rocky Mountain Mike and Marion Ann Arbor. So great. You know what? We marinated. I forget how brilliant and prolific they are. It's amazing. We are so grateful for you this holiday season.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, and for all the amazing jingles. Unbelievable. Anita in San Antonio. Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I just want to say Merry Christmas, Hanukkah
to you.
Everyone.
Thank you. You too.
And also, you know, I heard Lindy Lee, she said that Democrats were playing identity politics.
Aye.
So I guess anytime you don't nominate a white, straight Christian male, it's identity politics. Because that's all Republicans do, is play identity politics.
Thank you. Oh, and I love, Kamala was the unqualified DEI hire. Is that based on all of the... Not one of Donald Trump's nominees is qualified in any way for what they're nominated for. 29 minutes after the hour, John Fugel sang next.
You're two Republicans here. We're 24 hours away from a shutdown. You voted differently on a bill tonight that would have saved this. The question is Republicans not being able to get on the same page here. So do you, what happens next? Have you heard from leadership about what the plan is?
That's been my big frustration to begin with. We brought this yesterday. Everybody said, oh, this is horrible, but we didn't even bring it to the floor because everybody knew it was going to be defeated. Then today, we launched this bill without talking to really anybody in the conference about what we changed. And then I was accused of surprising people, of blindsiding people by my opinion, but I was never consulted in the first place. This is a leadership challenge that Mike Johnson has to define himself with. Are you going to get the right input from the right people to get this bill passed? Because quite frankly, you can't do it in a vacuum. And it doesn't matter because quite frankly, last time I checked, Elon Musk doesn't have a vote in Congress. Now, he has influence, and he'll put pressure on us to do whatever he thinks the right thing is for him. But I have 760,000 people that voted for me to do the right thing for them, and that's what matters to me.
All right. So I don't know where we are at the moment. The government shut down, but basically they blew up the first one, right? And then they said, hey, how can we make this better? Oh, as Chip Roy said, we have to take the bad stuff out. And by bad stuff, they meant, money for kids with cancer, because, them. So, as Jesus would do, right?
With Fugelsang.
Oh, my God.
With John Fugelsang.
Hi, John. Hi.
Oh, hi. Let's talk about the limp and flaccid Johnson just a little bit before Christmas, shall we? Yeah. Whoa. I hope we have a government for Christmas this year.
Yeah. As only you can put it, this is Christmas, where the GOP demands 1, tax cuts for the wealthiest, 2, reduce benefits for the needy, and 3, keep Christ in Christmas.
How it works. Looks like Mike Johnson is going to be the first lost job of the Trump administration. I think it's a pretty safe bet right now. We'll be getting a new speaker for Christmas. I think he deserves it beautifully. Like Kevin McCarthy, like Paul Ryan before him, Mike Johnson is learning exactly what you get for trying to placate and normalize the extremists in your party. So I'm really sorry. I don't feel anything but glee.
Last hour, Joe, was just like, they're the only people in the world that watch the St. Jude's commercial and just go, oh, those losers, them.
Oh, I know. Oh, these guys, please. These people...
Go ahead.
These people chuckle when they read the book of Job. These people, they read the grapes of wrath and root for the boll weevil, Stephanie. These are not good people. And they can't run a government. They're good at two things: giving money back to their donors and getting power. But once they're in power, they just trash the hotel and leave us with the checkout bill every time.
That's why he wants the debt ceiling raised so we can give more tax cuts to Elon Musk.
It's not just that. They want to do that so they can run the debt up so high, giving more tax cuts to Elon Musk with no cuts, and then turn around and say, well, we're not going to cut Social Security, but we will have to raise the retirement age to 68. That's a cut to Social Security.
Yeah.
Somehow, FDR put their money into your future, and they want it back. And that's what this is all about.
I said this last hour. I smell a revolution, brewing. If some guy that is not from America, some billionaire that bought America, that's going to, take away decide what Social Security benefits you get that you paid for your whole life.
Richest, the most socially uncomfortable man in the world, bought our government, and he's shutting it down right before Christmas, and Republicans are following his orders like his last name was Putin. Nothing like a couple of billionaires wreaking havoc on working families right before Christmas. The most useless Congress we've ever had, and they tried to give themselves a pay raise. My God, I almost miss Matt Gaetz, but he's making me way too happy too. Let's not forget Santa brings the Gaetz report, I think later on tonight.
We get a happy ending from the Gaetz report later. Beautiful. Yes, you said, welcome to America, where right-wing Christians fight to protect for-profit health care while celebrating the birth of a guy who gave it away for free. Thank you for once again pointing out the hypocrisy. Okay.
I mean, and listen, I think this horrible murder of this healthcare executive, and let's not kid ourselves, it was an assassination, it was evil, it was cowardly, he shot the guy in the back, we don't like this. But smart Democrats will look at how so many people on the left and the right are united in their disdain for these robber barons in the insurance industry. A smart Democrat is going to capitalize off of this universal outrage and start trying to get us the same kind of healthcare coverage all of our capitalist allies enjoy.
Well, you said it right there. To protect for-profit healthcare, it's just the insanity and absurdity of it in the first place that we would ever make healthcare for profit. I mean,
they don't help doctors. They don't help patients. All they do is chew up billions of our dollars out of our economy and spit out millions into stock options and bonuses. It's a dirty, rotten business. Everyone likes healthcare. But health insurance, these glorified middlemen, look, I'm not in favor of shooting them. But this guy got shot, and this guy's company has killed more Americans than every serial killer and undocumented immigrant combined.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of media there when he died because the way they kill people makes a lot of money. And there's no sympathy for them. I don't believe in violence. But capitalize on this, Democrats. Talk about lowering the Medicare age to 50. Just start talking about it.
Yeah. I've mentioned Chris Murphy today. I think he's a great messenger on our side. But you retweeted him. He said, remember what this is all about. Trump wants Democrats to agree to raise the debt ceiling so he can pass his massive corporate and billionaire tax cuts without a problem. Shorter version, tax cuts for billionaires or the government shuts down for Christmas. Yep. I mean, and this is a month before they're even in, John. And this is what this looks like.
I mean, this I got to watch my language. This S show isn't even have an opening date until January 20th. And is there anything more quintessentially American than inaugurating a racist on MLK's birthday? Because that's what we're going to do this January 20th. I can't think of anything more symbolically American and where we're at right now.
You know, the only thing you can do to salve that wound is to buy tickets to Sexy Liberal DC on January 18th after the People's March.
At the Warner.
Thank you.
That's right. That and thank God at least Herschel Walker is going to keep the Bahamas safe from werewolves.
That's true. That is true. And he has the fake badge to prove it.
I forgot about that.
He does. I'll whatever it takes.
Werewolf. Werewolf.
These people, it's like you see the bird flu? You see the bird flu numbers? Every time they elect Caligula, God sends a plague. I mean, God's telling them to stop.
I know. By the way, we were just saying this is an exact replay of them blowing up the bipartisan border bill because Trump told them to. Like, here we are. But you made, as usual.
That time Trump told them to. This time the First Lady told them
to.
Trump saw Mike Johnson's deal over the weekend and signed off on it. Yeah. It wasn't until you-know-who.
Yeah.
Board, and the celebrity couple Elump had to be on the same page.
Yeah, it is really that Putin and Elon Musk are basically running America is okay. But you said Trump hired illegals to avoid paying U.S. workers a living wage in 2 different centuries. They cross the border for jobs. Americans hire them. If the GOP was serious about stopping border crossings, they go after employers who all do the hiring. They will never do this. They will never talk about doing this. Thank you.
Correct.
It's
That's
just
correct.
it's so disingenuous.
That's the only point Democrats should be making. No one ever brings it up. No one does. I mean, take down the help wanted sign at our border and they'll stop coming. But they won't do it because our economy depends on an exploited, marginalized, mostly brown workforce that's underground. Trump's never going to deport 11 million people. He's not going to deport 500,000 people. He's not going to end birthright citizenship. Taxes aren't going to bring down prices. They're not going to cut $2 trillion from the federal budget. There's still no health care plan. They don't know how they're going to replace Obamacare. The rich are going to get richer. Look at the numbers Joe Biden is leaving behind right now, and then check back in 2 years.
Yeah.
That's how.
Yeah. So our former friend Lindy Lee says that Democrats failed on the border.
What about
the new Fox News star said that Democrats are the ones that failed on the border. And that Democrats that were a cult, not MAGA. It's Democrats. You mentioned, John, she was on your.
I can't wait till the 2028 midterms when Lindy's on our side again.
Right?
That's what I said. I'm like, she just wants the invitation to the White House. She doesn't care who's in it.
Right.
I had her on my show 3 weeks ago, and my producer Chris, we were literally worried about her because she didn't sound like herself, and she said she had made an appearance on Fox News, and liberals had been so mean to her, and I hadn't seen it. I said, hey, Lindy, it's okay. I go on Fox News all the time. I mean, it's good to go on Fox News. And screw those liberals who are, you should go into the lion's den and bring truth to that. And then I saw the actual clips. Yeah. And, it's like, wow, the Dave Rubinification of yet another one of our alleged allies. Yeah. Again, these people are on a damn grift.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you're right. And Chris always says I go on Fox, but not to do Fox News talking points, to bash Biden and Harris and Democrats and... Yeah. No, we always said, there's a very famous person she invited to a fundraiser and also me. And then, we came to find out it's $10,000. So I was like, what? I can't afford, So, I mean, it is a lot about, the money. And it saddens me personally and professionally that it just, unfortunately, I just thought oh my God, what a shameless mercenary. She's saying, because she was, as you know, so fervently supportive of the president and vice president and, the Democratic Party.
But for some people, it really is just the shiny object popularity contest. I told you about when I met Carrie Lake. And Carrie Lake just said to me, I'm not a racist. I voted twice for Obama. And I'm like, and then you decided you didn't believe in anything anymore?
That's right out of Get Out. Did you not see the movie Get Out before she said
Exactly. I don't know. Well, at least I know now if I ever do see our friend Lindy again, I won't feel awkward asking her, what is your job anyway? Because I'm curious now.
Yeah, none of us know.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't know.
Yeah.
Democratic fundraiser? Okay.
Yeah, well, that's the other thing that's, of course, Fox. She's not a DNC official of any kind.
Right.
She was not had an official campaign role on either campaign.
But they keep portraying her as a DNC
as a top DNC official, and she's not. Yeah. Although, can I just say, I don't know who tweeted this. I was going to guess the quote, but I lost the first page, so I don't know who said it.
Yeah, I'll still guess.
But they said valuing seniority over, because we don't like the Democratic firing squad. However, we are disappointed AOC didn't get the leadership job. Valuing, I think it was a Pod Save guy. He said valuing seniority over political and messaging chops is exactly how Democrats got into this mess in the first place. And, John, as I said to Frangela yesterday, we love Pelosi. She did Sexy Liberal with us. She's been to my house. I think she'll be go down as the best speaker in history. That being said, we got to make room for younger blood. AOC, David Hogg, whoever it is, and that doesn't mean we push Connolly or Pelosi out. We should. You spoke out against ageism, against Bernie, against Joe Biden, against.
And listen, I'm against ageism for Connolly. Connolly's great. Connolly has esophageal cancer, so I wish he wasn't taking on more work right now.
Yeah.
Look, I mean. Democrats are either going to learn or they're not. They're either going to notice how much this move has upset the rank and file, or they're not. But AOC has a terrific future ahead of her.
Yeah.
AOC and Pelosi have worked so well. They have coordinated when they'll agree and when they'll disagree. I mean, their relationship is fascinating. And look, and it's going to be Jasmine Crockett's party anyway. That's all there is to it. I mean,
I'm for that.
Full place by next week.
Oh my God, I love her so much. All right, let's focus on our Christmas gifts, which is the Matt Gaetz ethics report later today, hopefully. He tweeted, the Biden-Garland DOJ spent years reviewing allegations I committed various crimes. And you said...
Our DOJ started, Beavis. I'm sorry, Steph, go ahead.
That's exactly what you said. I was going to read your tweet to you, but you just said it. All right.
Sorry.
Yeah, you said a guy as innocent as you should demand this bogus report be released to clear you once and for all. Oh my God, can you even imagine what's in this?
I never thought I'd say this sentence, but I hope he signed the contract with OAN before 5 p.m. today. Yeah. Listen, here's what I got to say. It's Christmas time. Matt Gaetz resigned from Congress to keep this report from coming out, and the report is coming out anyway. Screw you, atheists. Baby Jesus loves us. Sorry, there's proof of a God for the week. That's all I need to get through it right now. It's
guess what I'm doing today before I go on vacation? I'm doing John Fugelsang's When Does That Air? What am I doing?
You're doing John Fugelsang.
Tonight we're having our year-end special on the show, and Frank Conniff's going to be there, and Kenneth C. Davis from Don't Know Much About History is going to be there. But our last hour is going to be Stephanie Miller, Glenn Kirshner, and Karen Hunter. 3
Wow. Christmas is coming early.
And the year to come. I mean, I was able to pin down Karen Hunter, which is not even due.
Yeah,
so
Christmas is coming. So am I. I am doing John Fugelsang for Christmas today.
That's right. I'm ending my year with you, baby.
What time? When does it air? What time does it air?
Tonight at 8 p.m. Pacific, 11 p.m. Eastern, and it's re-air several thousand times on Sirius XM Progress over the next 10 days.
Awesome.
Right. I love you, John Fugelsang.
We love you, John.
Thank you, everybody. Thank
See
you
you
all
later.
for all you do. Thank you for talking
Thank you.
to me.
No, thank you. No, thank you. Oh, no, thank you. All right, goodbye. I love you. 48 minutes after the hour. Hi, Malcolm. That's, I just, War 101, right? As you tell the enemy what you're going to do in advance, correct?
Yeah, but, don't worry about it, because if you tell the Trump transition team in Trump, that's just as good as telling Moscow itself.
Oh, this is
the middleman.
This is an indication of the media over the next 4 years. Oh, dear God. Okay. I mean, so you speaking of Ukraine, you retweeted someone who said hard facts. Trump will not be able to stop the war against Ukraine. Trump will probably, I'm just paraphrasing here, Trump will probably ban the use of long-range missiles on Russian territory. Due to this, Russia will ramp up attacks against civilian targets and critical energy infrastructure. Ukraine can't rely on America's help anymore. Europe needs to step up. Russia will ramp up their sabotage and hybrid operations in the West. Russia is in a war economy while Europe sleeps. There is hope, but hope is not a strategy. Europe needs the political will to defend Ukraine in its own interests. Talk about that a little bit.
Well, Europe is starting to ramp up, and this is one of the things that Donald Trump won't be able to get away with when he talks about disbanding NATO. He was saying that people were not paying. It's not a fee like a country club. People have to spend 2% of their GDP on their own defense. Well, now, because of Russia's invasion of Europe, some countries have gone up to 5 and 6% of their GDP. They now understand that they may have to fight a war with Russia without the United States, or the United States allied with Russia in terms of intelligence and material, or raising sanctions. And that's what Donald Trump has said he's going to do. So, we really should start viewing Ukraine as being a European-centric support, country, and not to rely on Donald Trump.
Yeah. Sounds like the Ukrainians are getting, what's the word, creative. A Russian general, a senior Russian general, was killed by a bomb hidden in a scooter outside his apartment building. Hang on. A popular military blogger died when a statuette given to him at a party in St. Petersburg exploded. This is kind of some 007 stuff. This, a Russian woman who said she presented the figurine on the orders of a contact in Ukraine was convicted. Yikes.
Yeah, I'd hate to be the one to tell people this, but this has been going on for 3 years now. People, someone asked me yesterday, Sarah, the Ukrainians being assisted by the Mossad. No. Let me tell you, Ukrainian intelligence, I worked with them for my first 3 months when I was in Ukraine. They are very good at these games in their own region. The people who are really getting it, that you're not hearing about almost every day, are the collaborators who joined Russia's forces or joined the Russian government when they invaded these areas. And these were Ukrainians that were one day Ukrainian and then joined the Russian government. They're blown up with alarming regularity.
Yeah.
They just killed the head of a force in Donetsk the other day. going deep into Russia and blowing stuff up is not hard for Ukraine because they were part of the Soviet Union. They have lots of contacts there. They have millions of people who support them. And Russia just cannot stop it. They don't have an army anymore.
Let's talk, speaking of Russia and Russian assets, you retweeted John Pavlovitz, who said Elon Musk is a Russian asset who has no business being anywhere near our government. Thank you. Liam Neeson, who said former Congressman Dana Rohrabacher was credibly accused of working for Putin. He sponsored the bill that allowed Elon Musk to privatize the American space industry. Now Putin controls our rocket production and over 30% of the global internet, Starlink. This is really... unprecedented. Although somebody tweeted that, Hitler had a guy like this too, some rich guy, because I just am like, what? America didn't vote for this guy?
Well, Steve Schmidt put it best when he said very clearly, America has gone into oligarchy. We are now being controlled by the billionaires. And we are, I just saw just a few minutes ago, someone was making a proposal that the Republican caucus should vote Elon Musk as the Speaker of the House.
Oh God.
Yeah.
It doesn't require politics. All it requires is a majority.
That's right. And he's just he's just... Yeah, sorry, I was going to say, and he's just like Trump. He's just a bully. That I read his tweet yesterday about there's graveyards full of my enemies. And you said only a wild collection of half-eaten Hot Pockets, broken human emotion, and unused common decency fills the graveyards of Elon Musk's enemies.
It's very true. In RIP, the Hot Pockets. That's how we got it.
Stephanie Miller.
We keep on waiting.
Yep. Yeah.
Stephanie Miller.
Yeah. Well, Merry Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa. Rest up. We have a lot to look forward to in the new year. We have possibly a government shutdown, no one getting paid,
right.
Perhaps malaria, polio, bird flu, bank runs, maybe bird lines.
Did you say Melania?
No.
Oh, malaria. Okay.
It's close. It's almost the same thing.
But don't tune out the news completely because keep an eye on Trump to make sure he doesn't get away with anything.
Also measles, possibly measles.
Oh, that's good.
Dr. Paul Offit. Yeah, here we go.
In 2005, measles would cause 48,000 hospitalizations and 500 deaths and 1,000 cases of encephalitis, meaning brain swelling every year. We eliminated that disease by 2000 but now it's come back to some extent because a critical percentage of parents have chosen not to vaccinate their children. Transparency. I mean, anytime a vaccine is put onto the schedule, you have to prove that it doesn't interfere with the safety or immunogenicity profile of existing vaccines and that those existing vaccines don't interfere with the safety or immunogenicity profile of that vaccine.
I'm sorry, there's something new, brain swell, that we have to look forward to.
With the measles.
Why? Because you elected an abnormal brain.
Well, if you get the measles, you can have encephalitis, yes.
You elected an abnormal brain. And now look what you've done.
When vaccines roll out, they very quickly tested in millions of children. You saw that with the COVID vaccines. When the COVID vaccines rolled out in December of 2020, very quickly you found out that the mRNA vaccines were a very rare cause of myocarditis, inflammation of the heart muscle, 1 in 50,000. When the J&J vector virus vaccine rolled out in February of 2021, you found out very quickly that it was a very, very rare cause, 1 in 250,000 of clotting. Of course they're tested for safety, and all those data are open to everybody.
Thank you. And one last
We,
one.
the FDA Vaccine Advisory Committee, reviewed, for example, the COVID vaccines in December of 2020. We reviewed about 800 pages of data. That was all on FDA's website for anybody to look at. I don't know what Tommy Tuberville is talking about, but one thing that Tommy Tuberville said that should be a key to exactly what RFK Jr. is going to do is he said, I just talked to RFK Jr. And we talked about how do we really need all these vaccines? That tells you everything about what RFK Jr. is about to do. He is about to do everything he can to destroy the vaccine program in this country. And I think it is a dangerous time to be a child in the United States of America.
Okay. Dr. Redlener tweeted, we understand the freedom issue, but we're not disputing this. But right now we're talking about the public's health and well-being. We cannot go backwards in medicine. That would be an absolute disaster. Oh, that's what, by the way, RFK calls the crazy guy that says get rid of the polio vaccine. He says he's one of the key medical freedom advocates, meaning hoping to free you from your
life.
Correct. Thank you for knowing what I was going to say there. You complete my sentences. You complete me. Yeah, and Dr. Redlener retweeted Adam Kinzinger, who said, watching the people who were tortured by Assad and my anger for Tulsi Gabbard defending him grows hotter. And Doc just said, yeah, Congressman, the Senate is the last stand for sustaining standards of competence, expertise, and moral integrity in Trump's government. Hopefully enough Republican senators will understand the gravity of their collective responsibility. I mean, Marjorie Taylor Greene is she's like, that's a great idea. Let's make Elon Musk Speaker of the House. I'm like, are they just going to cut out the middleman and make Putin the Director of National Intelligence? Because why not?
Right.
I mean, this story made me. Putin says Russia's ready to compromise with Trump on Ukraine. Yeah, of course he is. And then, by the way, he said he hasn't talked to Trump in years. Oh my God, he's such a complete lying sack of crap. Of course he's ready to negotiate because Trump's just going to give it to him. Oh my God. Dino Badala, next.
It's the Stephanie Miller Show.
You know, denial is not just a river in Egypt. Let's talk about the last 2 years. It was the Democrats who raised the debt ceiling, not the Republicans last time. Many of you voted against it. It was the Democrats who kept over the government, not once, not twice, but every single time we needed to keep the government open, it was the Democrats who kept the government open. More of us voted for it than you.
Thank you, Jared Moskowitz, Alpha Liberal. We need all of the alpha liberals we can in the fight ahead. Rosemary in East Hampton, Joyzy says, Stephen the Mooks, thanks for staying true to us, to the show, to our values. Many of us are in a very dark place right now, truthfully, because it doesn't seem plausible there will be a way forward this time, or even another election. It's too painful to listen to watch news or podcasts. I cannot hear President-elect X, but if you are the one place I've been able to listen and found some peace. It's because of the fart jokes. That's what it is.
That's it.
We just pepper them in there. I've unfollowed some of my go-tos for a while, but not you. I admit I'm not very hopeful. This is so much worse than last time. That said, your show, Chris, Jody, all of your guests and the Steph heads are our saving grace at this point. The love in this community has pulled so many of us along, and we couldn't do it ourselves. This is certainly one of those times. Please stay strong, and maybe we can all find some fight again. We love you. Rosemary, we are in this fight together. And I got a lot of spin-offs in this Stephanie Miller cinematic universe, including my Potsy.
Potsy.
Hello. Hi.
Hello. I'm so happy to be your last guest of the year.
That's right.
Yes.
Because no one could follow me. That's why, folks. That's
right.
Boom. It's deemed and shut down. That's all. There's no more show.
Listen, I already said you won the internet in hour one with your tweet. If Elon Musk is actually the president and he's paying all of Trump's bills, doesn't that mean Trump is Musk's first lady? And I think that's going to bother him more than calling him President Musk, President Musk.
If First Lady, Melania, whatever they were so many things. Orange Melania. Look, Donald Trump is a kept man. He is now living in a big house that Elon Musk bought for him. Mm-hmm. You know, he gets everything paid for. And when Elon Musk speaks, and then Trump has to agree with him. I wonder if Trump would be like Melania. We don't see Donald anymore. It's just Elon Musk going forward. I mean, he did buy him that nice house. Elon Musk bought him the White House. That's a nice mansion.
Dean, I keep saying it is just infuriating. It is unprecedented. And yet, I mean, it's almost like I keep using the word revolution, but I'm like, are Americans going to stand for this? For the richest man in the world shutting down the government, taking away their Social Security so that he can get, after, by the way, our taxpayer money is what made him rich. He's the biggest socialist welfare queen in the world.
Elon Musk there's nothing, it doesn't impact him if they shut the government down. It doesn't impact him if Social Security ends or Medicare ends. He is the wealthiest man in the world. Why he's so concerned with cutting the federal government, it doesn't make sense, except for if they're not going to end services. They privatize it. Right. And then who gets to get the contracts?
Yeah.
The government contracts to provide the services? We know this. It's the wealthy, the GOP donors. So Elon Musk, like the oligarchs and the robber barons of the 1880s, 1890s, they cannot make enough money. There's not enough. The idea, like how many speedboats you have to water ski behind, I think that was in Wall Street.
Yeah.
Like all of that, it doesn't end. Their appetite for wealth you can't satisfy it.
Dean, it's already
money. It's unreal.
It's already happening. You know what the test case was? Is the post office. They put Louis DeJoy in, who was wildly incompetent, to destroy it, and now they have to go, well, now you got to privatize it. I mean, that was the test run for this.
Right. Look, they've already. Take a step back. People go, oh, Republicans want to privatize Medicare. They've done that. It's called Medicare Advantage.
Thank you.
Now, 60% of people on Medicare are on Medicare Advantage provided by health insurance companies, which are filled with wealthy GOP donors. They're going to try a Social Security Advantage, as Thom Hartmann we talked about with Thom. That's the next step, where you're not actually ending the program. You're slowly phasing it out with this private functioning that they can make more money. If they get rid of the post office, people in rural areas, which are generally Republicans, not all, will suffer the most. There's no for-profit company that's going to go up a mountain to deliver a letter, but the post office has to. They're mandated by law to do that. They do universal access, universal delivery, if it's profit or not. a big company that wants to make money, they're never going to deliver. So good
Yeah.
luck, folks.
If
You're
any-
going to suffer. You're
yeah.
going to lose your checks, your prescription drugs. They're not going to come to your house.
Yeah, and if anything is going to make us go South Korea on their ass, it's Elon Musk, the richest man in the world, going, oh, you'll be fine for 3 weeks over Christmas with no pay when most of us can't afford a $400 emergency. I mean, he's going to be the one that decides your grandma's getting too much Social Security money that she paid into her whole life.
Hey, you know what, Stephanie, though, what's been remarkable? Democrats did something they never do. They picked a good message, calling him President Elon Musk over and over, and they stuck to it. And they went on TV, and all the Democrats were saying it. I'm like, what are you, Republicans? This is unbelievable. You guys
Good job.
actually came up with a good message and repeated it. Everyone, from Jaya Paul to Dan Goldman, everyone on TV, Debbie Wasserman Schultz, President Musk, President Musk, President Musk, the billionaire shutting down our government, oligarch.
And you can
shutting down our
tell
government.
it's
It was
bothering
great.
him because they've already had to put up a statement saying it doesn't bother him. He doesn't care. They've already had to react to it.
Today, that's right. Today on Fox News, I don't watch Fox News, but I saw a report how Lawrence Jones, their one host, said he talked to Trump yesterday, who said to him right away, I'm not troubled by what they're saying, President Musk. Like, oh, you are so troubled.
Yeah.
You are so being trolled. Because, look, Trump is a Pinot, a president name only. And I wrote about that in October, but I thought it was going to be for the dementia. If he won, his dementia would make him a Pinot. I didn't think it was going to be Musk. It is Musk that's made him a Pinot, a little teeny Pinot. That's what Donald Trump
Teeny.
is.
E. Jean Carroll already told us, teeny Pinot. Okay.
Teeny Pinot, that's right.
No, but I mean, you were talking about whether the coming brawl between Trump and Musk. When Trump's ego, of course, gets. But the problem now is, he's got him in a vice, right? I mean, who was it? Dan Goldman talking about? First of all, he bought him. He bought the election. Yep. He's the one that would fund all these frivolous lawsuits against people, the revenge lawsuits. He's the one that would fund all the primaries against Republicans that don't do what Trump wants. Where is Dan Goldman was saying Musk will provide Trump with a windfall if Trump does his bidding. That's all Trump ever cares about is money. Dan said he has his own interests related solely to his own federal contracts, his own business interests. He has no idea how government operates. This is Musk, how government runs. He spent nearly $300 million to get Trump elected. There are rumors he's going to use X to buy or merge with True Social, which would give Trump a tremendous windfall. Elon Musk has Donald Trump in a vice, and it's very clear Elon Musk is now calling the shots. So, it's like Putin. Now he's Putin and Elon Musk's puppet.
Well, and I'll tell you, Elon Musk, on some level, with the Russian theme continuing, it's like Rasputin. That's who Elon Musk is. This mythical figure shows up out of nowhere, gets a huge amount of influence over the Tsar Nicholas. And what happens? Who brings him down? The other nobleman who got jealous of Rasputin, who then ended up poisoning him, shooting him, drowning him, and throwing him in the river. I'm not saying that's going to happen to Elon Musk, but it could. These are the kind of things. So already, by the way, today, Congressman Rich McCormick, a Republican, actually last night on CNN, was the first one to criticize Elon Musk, saying, and he's a Republican, goes, no one voted for him. He goes, and so Elon Musk is concerned with his own interest. He goes, I'm concerned with the interest of people who elected me. If you see more Republicans peel off like that, it's sort of the nobleman of the time of Rasputin. I'm not kidding. Yeah. That's the greatest hope, that if you're going to have that fight, it's an internal Republican divide that fractures their party and their caucus. That's good for us as Democrats.
Yeah.
We want them to fight as much as possible.
Yeah.
So let's hope that happens. Whatever we can do to fuel that, we got to keep doing it.
I mean, you said it on, is this Threads, I guess. Elon Musk, is the world's richest man, is shutting down the U.S. government as a show of power. Back in the real world, the shutdown means millions of members of our military and federal workers will not get paid. Musk's response is to let them eat cake. We finally have oligarchy here. This is it. And you said, this was an interesting idea, because on your lawyer hat, you said, should we look into putting together a massive class action lawsuit against Musk for intentionally peddling lies during the campaign, which was election interference? If we can get 30 million plaintiffs seeking damages, it could be very costly for Musk. I mean, I think we're going to have to get creative in this next resistance, aren't we?
I'm going to write some articles over the break, and because I've been doing research on it. I think we have to follow the Republican lead. Remember their Texas bounty law with abortions? They couldn't prevent abortion, but they incentivized people saying, if you sue someone, you get $10,000 and your legal fees if someone tries to do an abortion in our state. This is before Roe fell. Blue states can do the same thing about contributions to campaigns that go over a certain limit. If the government gets involved, then Citizens United and the Supreme Court might strike it down. But if you empower private citizens and you give them a reward, a bounty to go after Elon Musk in any state he does business, if he gives a donation over a certain amount of money, that we have a set limit, you might have an impact. I mean, I'm trying to be creative here too, because on the federal level, we're not going to pass anything. It's not going to happen. And the corrupt Supreme Court will strike it down.
Yeah.
But if there's a way to keep state actions out and do private action, this is just completely legal wonky. You're taking the state action out, then the Supreme Court won't strike it down. It's not the state saying you can't say this stuff. It's private citizens just having a power to sue you. You can keep saying it. So look, I'm going to look into it more. It might not make the most sense right now, but folks, we got to be creative in all of this.
I'm with you, baby. So Jessica Tarloff, who we love,
Yes.
on Fox News, she said this is the richest man in the world wanted this. She said, "What's your problem with bipartisan cancer research for 190 million? A drop in the bucket of what?" I mean, I was just saying, who looks at this and goes, who looks at the St. Jude's and goes, "I hate that effing Caleb. Screw him." Like, this was their solution to the first deal that blew up. Go ahead.
He's a cruel, mean person. I just saw a report just now, and I haven't read the whole report, but Elon Musk apparently posted online that the only political party that can save Germany is the AfD. The AfD is essentially a Nazi party. It is the far-right party in Germany. There's three major parties. It is the one that came out of, I'm not going to say directly from the Nazi, but it was labeled in the past as a white nationalist Nazi affinity party, and that's what Elon Musk is endorsing there. You could see his view of America, of the world, is a white supremacist view, where it's going to be male-dominated, women second class, people of color second class, and him, it doesn't matter. He doesn't care. He's not a citizen of the United States. He views himself as above that. He wants to rule the world.
Yeah.
It's like a Bond villain.
I mean,
but unfortunately, he has the money.
But just to finish with how Jessica Tarloff saw it, she said Trump wasn't kicking up a fuss about the bill before Elon Musk got a bee in his bonnet. He wasn't saying anything. And then Musk gets mad and floats things about bioweapons labs and the DC Stadium thing, which he got completely wrong. And suddenly this is happening. I mean, it's part of how we got here in the first place, disinformation. He put out a lie about bioweapons in this bill that got retweeted 30,000 or viewed, whatever it was, 30,000 times. That's how we got here, Dean. Tweeting complete disinformation and lies. And this is what they count on in this cycle, is they won't take the blame for this because the right wing and Elon Musk will just, which they already have. They've already started the Joe Biden shutdown, and they count on just enough of their idiots will believe them.
And then Elon Musk, the biolab thing wasn't true at all, but he doesn't matter to Elon Musk. Elon Musk didn't block it for the biolab. Elon Musk blocked this bill to show he had power. He began tweeting at 4:30 in the morning on Wednesday morning, way before Trump. He did 12 hours of tweets before Trump chimed in. And Congressman Andy Barr, a Republican in Kentucky, during the day said, "I'm getting phone calls off the hooks by supporters of Elon Musk," not of Trump, of Elon Musk, right?
Yeah.
We have a power shift changing.
Yeah.
Trump is becoming a Pinot. We need this brawl to happen.
I think let's take that over. Let's call him Teeny Pino.
Okay.
Tino Pino. I like that. Teeny Pino.
Teeny
Trump.
Pino. Okay. All right. We have Dean for a little while longer.
Yes.
19 minutes after the hour. This I want to lick you like a giant man cone. Good morning.
Oh my
man
God.
Stephanie Louise Miller.
I like that. I'm happy to be a man cone. Yeah. Hey,
Good morning,
happy
Bob.
holidays, everyone. I'm the man cone. I'll be like the new elf on the shelf. The man cone. The man cone on the drone floating over New Jersey.
By the way, yes, I read a Fred Wellman tweet. He entitled it "Mass Delusional Stupidity: Drones, Politicians, and Physics." I mean, it's just, we have reached the. I read your tweet the other day about Brondo because we cannot be more peak idiocracy right now, right?
Absolutely. I mean, all you got to do is look up, and there are things in the sky, whether they're stars or airplanes or.
Ooh, don't look up. We're in idiocracy meets Don't Look Up.
Yeah, no kidding. And it occurred to me the other day that if you drive around the highways, especially here on the East Coast, I don't know what it's like in California because I don't know, I don't recall noticing, but over here there are signs everywhere that says speed enforced by aircraft. What are those aircraft? They're obviously helicopters. You're driving up and down I-95 here on the East Coast. You see them hovering at night, just looking for reckless drivers, speeders, and then they radio down to people on the ground who then get the worst ones. I suppose I don't know what the process is, but that could entirely be an explanation for what people are seeing.
Well, it
and
explains.
Of course, they're going to the most ridiculous explanation.
It explains how we elected Donald Trump twice.
Well,
it's like some people are like, I'm gonna send my own drone up there, see what's going on all them drones, and then people are like, how come there's so many? Yeah.
And then the police have to warn people not to shoot down the drones. Oh, God, shut down the internet. Can we just shut it down? We just got to unplug it for a while. Just a couple of years.
Right.
What do we do? We need a timeout from the internet. All of American society. I think, you know what? I say that half jokingly, but the other half is like, as someone who worked his entire career on the internet, I feel like we just weren't evolved enough. We weren't ready when it came along. It just came along way too soon.
As you're speaking,
can't digest all this stuff.
I just got a super sad email. I had to share with you because you talk about this all the time about even when Trump's gone, we're going to deal with Trumpism forever. And, you know, and this just conspiracy theory, anti-vax, whatever, fill in the blank idiocy, you know, stupidity. But David in Alabama wrote, Mama, earlier this week, a friend of the family told us her adult son was diagnosed with COVID. Instead of getting treatment from medical professionals or taking guidance from his doctor, he literally injected bleach into his veins. He died, of course. Trump's incompetence from his first administration is still killing people. God help us with his second. And you can tell Bobby Brainworm is just saying whatever he thinks he needs to say now to get, you know, confirmed. And he's on tape, Bob. They keep confronting him on tape, and he's like, I didn't say that. They're like, here it is. He is on record saying there is no safe or effective vaccine. And now he's trying to, you know, back. But you can tell even Trump knows they're getting cast already as, you know, extreme lunatics. And he's like, oh, we're not going to take the polio vaccine. Don't you worry. Well, you know, the guy that advises Bobby Kennedy has already asked for it to be revoked, the polio vaccine.
Yes, of course. And here's the shell game that we're going to see in the next 4 years. I say with a big sigh, exhale. They're going to say, okay, look, we're not opposed to vaccines. We kind of saw this a little bit on the Hill yesterday when RFK Jr. was up there meeting with members of the Senate. And they said, well, we're all in favor of vaccines. That's fine. It's the mandates we're opposed to. And what people are going to do is they're going to get confused between, I'm talking about the low information voters who don't follow this on a regular basis. They're going to say, well, I think a great middle ground is to have the vaccines, but to eliminate the mandates. The mandates are almost entirely the point. Everyone has to get it in order for it to work. If only piecemeal pockets of people are getting the vaccine, whereas the polio vaccine or any other vaccines, then it's going to spread like wildfire in the places where it's not being mandated.
Yeah, they count on responsible people to protect the irresponsible ones.
The traffic laws apply to everyone. The traffic laws are not optional. They're mandatory for a reason. I challenge you.
And you know what monitors traffic? Drones. Okay.
Drones, speed enforced by aircraft. And
Stephanie Miller.
Yeah, we are. Yvonne in Jacksonville, Florida. You're on with Dean. Hi, Yvonne. Hello.
It's Bonnie.
Okay.
Bonnie.
Sorry.
I just wanted to tell y'all that you have kept me sane, which is very hard. I don't know what in the world I'm supposed to do for 2 weeks. I know y'all are tired.
We have best
We have best ofs. We can glory in the past year.
Christmas with my family.
Oh.
All right.
No.
All right, we'll do
They're
it.
Republican.
Okay.
Oh. All right, well then you're gonna need the best ofs, but rest up, and we will see you back here January 6th to stay in the fight. Thank you, Vonnie.
And the best ofs are all positive because most of them are pre-election.
Yes, back when we were joyful. Here's a silver lining that Dean Obeidallah just mentioned. Yeah. So this second bill that Trump wanted them to vote for, because you can tell they're scrambling. They know they're going to take the blame for this. But you said 38 Republicans voted against it, and he's supposedly at the height of his powers. He's not even in yet. Right. So go ahead.
Out of 219 seats the House Republicans have now, because there's some vacancies, nearly 20% of the House caucus yesterday voted against the bill that Donald Trump personally said in a statement, this is the right thing and everyone should support it. And the corporate media is missing that. They're going over the debate over whose fault is it. And Mike Johnson says it's a Democrat's fault, and Democrats say it's Republicans. 20% of the House GOP caucus defied Donald Trump yesterday. That should be a headline because it shows the Pinot status, the little Pinot that he has of Donald Trump. He's not having the power he should be having. He is now at the height of his power and popularity because a person not in office yet, that's when people still like them more.
Matt Gaetz,
they don't care.
Matt Gaetz' nomination already went down, and today we're going to see, hopefully later, how horrible the nominee was exactly that Donald Trump was trying to foist on the American people. Trump posted yesterday on all caps, everyone wants to be my friend. No. Not so, not so much.
Not 20% of your own caucus doesn't even want to be your friend.
I mean,
I can't believe that's lost in corporate media. They suck it. That's why we're here.
I love this. Elon Musk said the bill's failure was the voice of of the people was heard. Oh, really? Or was the voice of one billionaire heard? Really? The people want to shut down and to not get paid, and farmers and veterans and disaster relief victims. That's what the voice of the people wants, right?
Well, Elon Musk is now, I've changed it from just Rasputin, he's Marie Antoinette as well. He is both Rasputin and Marie Antoinette, and for both of them, Google it, doesn't work out well, folks. Yeah. So that's how it's going to go.
Kevin in D.C., you're on with Dean real quick. Hey, Kev.
Hello. Long time no speak to and hear. I've been too angry to beat the quality of your show, which is always upbeat. I know you didn't want to string up expletives on the air, so I decided to stay away.
Yeah, it's not fun. Don't swear on the air. It's not fun for Chris, and it's not funny. Okay, go ahead.
Yes, I didn't want to put you through that. But the one thing I have from time to time listened to the show, and heard people still fighting, and a loop text chain number one still fighting. So I think I've recovered enough to do that. And people like your show and Dean and others who have still kept on, I salute you.
We're not fighting. You're fighting, you idiot.
Thank you.
That's a joke. All right. We love you. Heartbreak, we love you, honey. Merry Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa. We will see you next year.
Hey, by the way, you can call my show and curse all you want.
Yeah, there you go.
That
filth.
Not on free radio. My show, we have to curse every hour. We have a requirement. We have curse words every hour, or I lose my show.
That's a Sean Bertolo dictate.
Yes, that filth is for Dean Obeidallah and John Fugelsang and all the filthy whores over there. You just take your filth over there. All right. We have Dean, one more segment.
That's right.
And his great piece about all the losers in Trump's cabinet. Next on The Stephanie Miller Show.
heard for the last couple of weeks about this giant mandate, landslide, trifecta. Put on your big boy pants. Pass your own bill. We're only here because you guys can't agree amongst yourselves. So hold on a second. Democrats will keep government open for the American people.
Thank you, Representative Moskowitz. This is a good point. Matt in Illinois says, Steph, Mike Johnson wants Democrats and Biden to give a no-limit credit card to a man with 5 bankruptcies. Yep. Fiscal conservatism at its best. And the guy that ran up the most debt of any president ever in just 4 years, right? I mean,
yep.
Yeah, go ahead.
The reality is that the debt limit allows Democrats to negotiate and have a little bit of leverage later this year when Trump is spending billions of dollars on a tax cut for the wealthy, make them richer, and billions on the mass deportation plan. We're going to have no ability to slow down anything without that. So they can't give up the debt ceiling now. They have to make it part of a separate fight. Republicans have used it all the time. Mm-hmm. So forget it. We're going to put up the fight. Listeners to my show say vote no on any kind of debt ceiling increase.
And I don't know if you saw Chip Roy, who is a Republican congressman and also Roy Rogers putt-putt outside Lubbock.
Yep.
But he went off on his own party. He made the first ad for Democrats. And so Trump went after him. I mean, this is why I'm wearing my bag of rats. We may but just sit back, like Jasmine Crockett says, sip our tea.
Yep.
Just wait. Yeah, Chip Roy denied that Trump had turned on him after Trump called the congressman just another ambitious guy with no talent and claimed he would be primaried. Oh, I'd say that's turning on you.
Oh.
Right?
I've had people break up with me and say less. Okay, so that's over. That relationship is done. Move on, Chip Roy. You're going to be a star because he loves me. Like Chip Roy's driving around the White House at night going, no, he still likes me. No, he's not coming out. It's over, Chip Roy. Move on. Find a new benefactor.
It's like single orange female. Okay.
Yep.
So we mentioned earlier about, I cannot believe we just had a whole election where Kamala Harris, one of the most qualified people ever to run, got called in DEI hire, right? After being, Attorney General of the largest Justice Department in the country, second largest, fantastic senator, vice president, whatever. And you wrote this piece, Trump mocks losers and then stacks his cabinet with them. I mean, is there one person that's qualified? Maybe Marco Rubio. Other than that, is there one person that is actually in any way qualified for what he is appointed them to?
Not objectively, but Donald Trump has the biggest barrel of billionaires we've ever seen in the cabinet. But my point of my article is Trump mocks losers and loves winners, but his cabinet, his appointments are stocked with losers. Carrie Lake, now the head of Voice of America, 2-time loser, but a big suck up to Trump. Herschel Walker, loser's going to be now the ambassador to the Bahamas. You've got other
Dr.
losers.
Oz.
Like
You
Dr.
went
Oz,
down, all of them. Alina Habba.
Oh, bless you.
Thank you. You said in terms of dollars and cents, she is the biggest loser. Cost him $83 million in damages in the E. Jean Carroll trial and $438 million he lost in the New York fraud trial. So Alina Habba gets the.
Bless you.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Alina Habba, you lost two of the biggest cases ever. Where are you going? The Trump administration. That's how it goes. Like the bigger loser you are. But he surrounds himself with losers because they're loyal. They have no future. They're on their way to obscurity.
Yeah.
Trump lifts them from obscurity, gives them a visible position, and they will do everything and anything he says. That's why Pete Hegseth, for Secretary of Defense, you could find qualified people who believe in Trump, who are qualified to be Secretary of Defense. You don't need to get a sexual assaulter who has no competence, who has a drinking problem, which he should get help for and not be in this position, who is an anti-Muslim bigot. He should not be the head of the Department of Defense. But he's loyal. That's all Trump cares about.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you in the presidential primary losers, you went down those. Tulsi Gabbard, Bobby Kennedy. Oh, I forgot. Bobby Kennedy lost not once but twice in the 2024 presidential. And then you said loser palooza, just getting warmed up. Kelly Loeffler, who lost in where was it? Oh, Georgia. North Dakota Governor Doug Burgum. Who will forget ever forget the Bergmentum? Yep. Okay, Mike Huckabee, Marco Rubio, and then, finally, Kimberly Guilfoyle, who you said her loss is personal, not political. And as you said, the ambassadorship, obviously a bit of a consolation prize. A lovely parting gift. And she also got, I heard, some rice-a-roni along with the...
Did she? That's the thing. Like the old game shows. And she'll be staying at the Hilton on 42nd Street. Or the Hilton Garden Inn, we're putting up for 2 nights on the thing.
Yeah. And maybe she came away with syphilis from Don Jr.
Probably. I'm going to guess.
To
Or
always
chlamydia.
And I think RFK is going to ban penicillin, so that's not good for her, right?
Not.
Chlamydia.
It is like a game show with and wait, there's more. You're leaving with a year supply of rice-a-roni.
And a scorching case of herpes.
How many things is RFK Jr. going to ban? I mean, anything like this is an insane. We live in a world where it's like a dream, and you wake up and this can't be real, and like it is. This is the real world with these cast of losers, the bunch of losers who have no position, any idea they shouldn't be in these positions by any stretch of the imagination, and someone like RFK, Secretary of Health. I thought that person should be helpful for our health, not anti-health. We never had an anti-health. The guy's a lawyer. What is he doing? The head of Health and Human Services. How about a doctor? In fact, by the way, in Trump's first term, he did appoint a doctor, Thom Price, who was a congressman, but a doctor.
Right.
At least the guy had a health background.
Yeah.
This is what we see now is off the charts garbage.
Yeah, absolutely. You know what's not? The Dino Vidala Show, which is 6 to 9 p.m.
Yay.
Eastern Time, right here on the best team, Sirius Progress,
That's
Sirius
right.
XM Progress team. We love you, Dean. We'll see you next
Love
year.
you too. Love you all. Happy Christmas, New Year, Hanukkah, everything.
Merry Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa to you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dean.
Thank you, Dean. Do
Bye.
we have one of our other Merry Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa songs?
We must.
We've had these for years. Oh, yeah, go ahead. Oh,
It's okay if you're a Muslim, a Christian, or a
it's for
Jew.
Dean.
It's
He's
okay
a Muslim.
if you're agnostic and you don't know what to do. An all-inclusive celebration.
No contractual obligation.
Happy Christmas, Kwanzaa to you.
And pagans too.
In some ways, we're all monkeys. Well, maybe
What?
just a smidgen.
I'm a Scientologist.
That's kind of a religion.
Happy Christmas,
all right.
Oh, boy.
Pardon me, I snorted. Marie in Atlanta. Hello.
Hello. Thanks for taking my call. I'll make it really quick. You guys have really, there's not enough ways to say thank you and how much you have meant to so many of us.
Thank you.
Through the election and past it. Happy Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa. Enjoy your rest, and we look forward to getting back with you in the fight next year.
Aw, thank you, sweetheart. And we are grateful to to you. Your calls are fantastic, and to all
And
the
we
step
learn
heads.
from you.
Yeah, we do.
Yes.
Absolutely.
How much do we appreciate our unpaid guests?
Yes, we do. Thank you.
Emphasis on unpaid.
Well, all of them are unpaid.
That's
Yeah,
right.
they all are. You don't
Which
pay
is
any of them.
exactly in line with our budget. All the holiday love rolling in. Andy in Chicago. Steph, I'm an avid listener. I haven't been able to listen to your show so much because it's just too raw. This was right after the election. I'm trying to get through all my love letters. Thank you for carrying on. People do count on you. It can't be easy. No, it's not. I'm Tom Cruise, and it's a mind. It's a soul-shattering. Okay, never mind. I'm not sure if you've covered this, but part of the postmortem conversation has to be the utter failures of Merrick Garland and the DOJ. I'm on that train. Sorry, Allison Gill. Can you imagine how different things might be today if people at the top of the insurrection were prosecuted and how and when they should have been? On their side, non-criminals could have replaced the criminals at the top of the ticket, and ours people would have felt much more confident that justice matters to our side. It's a complete and utter failure. I haven't heard anyone discussing. Oh no, we've discussed it. We've discussed it. Oh, didn't Allison Gill said she's going to get on the train if he doesn't release the
report.
the January 6th
Right.
report.
If he doesn't release the report, then
Yeah.
she's on that team.
All right. One of the things we're very, very grateful for is Rocky Mountain Mike and Mary in Ann Arbor in their brilliant work this year.
Mike. When you finally decided to tie the knot, but you're also not ready for 4 more years of Biden, it's Bloodbath and Beyond. 14 tri-state locations, including Lakeview, Schaumburg, Downers Grove, Aurora, Elmhurst, and Skokie.
Benatar. You're a fart maker, deal breaker, big faker, don't pass gas around near me. Reindicted and it feels so good. Reindicted, go to prison, he should.
I didn't do nothing.
don't be stupid, Medinov. I need you to oversee him and make sure he doesn't screw it up.
Okay. Come, Natasha.
No, Boris, darling. I'm going to be with Trump. My name is now Melania.
That? You must be crazy. Look what you do to yourself.
I really don't care. Do you?
And here's to you, Mr. Robinson. Jesus knows what you do with your phone. And your bone. He sees that Waltz is our man. Kamala's got a plan. That Waltz is a man, not a weirdo.
God said, I need somebody willing to get up before dawn, milk gags for all they're worth, spend all day making beaver jokes, milk the gags again, eat supper, then go to town, stay past midnight to get her picture taken with Cher. So God made Stephanie Miller.
Brain worms keep crawling in my head. Just like the guy who paid 2 hookers to be the vet. Don't know when to quit. Those brain worms are crawling in my head. They keep munching. Don't worry if it's so big. He'll live in a van down by the river. Make it sting and go run. Make it sting and go run.
Just like a mushroom, we're told. He wants Arnold Palmer's.
Mr. Wizard?
Yes.
Watch Mr. Wizard. That's what all the kids in the neighborhood call it.
Yes, that's how the show starts. But
You know what I call it? I call it grooming. Do you have an actual job? I mean, you just seem to lure children into your house to supposedly show them science.
Please leave.
Do you have any ivermectin? Maybe try some disinfectant? Maybe shine a powerful light to kill
Watch Mr. Wizard is presented each week at this time by the Public Affairs Department of NBC in hopes that some of you might grow up with some basic knowledge of science and have a fucking clue and not vote for an imbecile.
Thank you, Rocky Mountain Mike and Marion and Harper. Also highlights how completely ridiculous the timeline that we're living through is. Just in case you'd forgotten how completely this year was. Hooray! Thank you, Rocky Mountain Mike. He makes it funny.
Yep.
Julie in Colorado wants to say Merry Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa. Hello. Hi, Julie.
I do. Oh my gosh! Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Go ahead.
Are you there?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, sorry. It just sorry. I hate doing that when I hear it when I'm listening. Anyways, I was hoping to catch Dean because I wanted to say thank you to all of you and Dean because I usually call his afternoon show as well. But when I listened to Marie and I was just thinking like, oh my God, what a year it's been where we were so up and so positive, and then we had to do this big crater fall. It's like everyone else has said. I'm just repeating what they said, but it's like I can't tell you how much I appreciate that you've been there, and I don't want to get.
Thank you.
I'm going to be the chick that cries on the radio with you.
You
guys mean so much to me.
Aw. Thank you, Julie. I'll be at the chick that cries with the chick that's crying with the chick on the radio.
Yes.
That cries.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
All right.
All crying chicks are welcome.
All right.
So thank you again.
All
Happy
right.
holidays. Get some good rest too, because we've
Thank you.
got to come out and kick some butt next year.
Yeah, balls to the wall.
That's
January
right.
6th. We'll be back. We
Yeah.
love you, Julie. Woohoo! From Denver, City by the Bay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, by the way, we want to say Happy Hanukkah to our Jewish friends as well.
I have a Christmas Hanukkah Kwanzaa dreidel.
Yeah.
I made it out of non-pork meat.
That's right.
My Christmas Hanukkah Kwanzaa dreidel. Can you feel its kosher heat? My non-pork dreidel is so yummy. I put it in my mouth. I can feel it in my tummy. I think it's heading south. Oh, dreidel, dreidel, dreidel. I made you out of meat. Dreidel, dreidel, dreidel. You'll soon come out my seat.
Thank you.
We've had those for so many years. We apologize to the vegans. Let's say Happy Hanukkah to
We
our
do.
Jewish friends.
Yes.
Okay.
Non-pork meat.
Yeah, sure. What? All right, 48 minutes after the hour. This
Tamitakiapi, Leampetuashte. As 2024 comes to a close, we're taking a moment to reflect on the stories that shaped our year. Thanks for joining us. I'm Shirley Snavy, and this is ICT's Year-End Review. First up, the top stories that impacted Indian country this year.
From historic apologies to political showdowns, this year was packed with big headlines and major developments. Let's begin with a moment that resonated across all Native communities, President Biden's formal apology for the boarding school era.
The federal government has never formally apologized for what happened until today. I formally apologize as President of the United States of America for what we did. I formally apologize.
President Biden's words marked a critical step in acknowledging the pain and trauma Native communities have endured for generations. Reactions were mixed, with many calling it a start, but not enough. Next up, the 2024 elections. This year, we witnessed an unprecedented number of Native candidates on the ballot. 178 candidates across 24 states, representing a 44% increase since 2022. Native leadership is growing and changing the political landscape. These faces and voices will be impacting policy for years to come. 2024 also marked a major shift in how museums handle Native American cultural items. New regulations under the Native American Graves Protection and Repatriation Act, or NAGPRA, has sent museums scrambling to comply. These new rules aim to streamline the repatriation process, making it easier for Native nations to reclaim ancestral remains and sacred items. But not everyone is happy about it. Museums say the timelines for compliance are too short, while Native communities say the time for delay is long past due. This year's changes to NAGPRA have forced museums and institutions to reconsider how they handle collections of Native items. It's a story we'll continue to follow in 2025. Coles Brings Plenty, a renowned Lakota actor and advocate for Native representation in media, died this year. His disappearance in October following a domestic violence report shocked the Native American community. Days later, his body was found, with authorities reporting no foul play. Known for his role in Yellowstone, Cole was more than an actor. He was a champion for authentic Native representation in film and television. His loss is felt across Indian country, but his legacy remains, inspiring a new generation to tell Native stories with honesty, dignity, and care. The Klamath River runs free once again, marking one of the biggest environmental victories of 2024. In October, 4 hydroelectric dams were removed in the largest dam removal project in U.S. history. Built between 1918 and 1962, these dams promised irrigation, flood control, and power, but instead wiped out salmon runs and damaged tribal communities who relied on the river. Now, the salmon are returning to spawning grounds for the first time in decades, restoring a vital link in the region's natural balance. For the Kaduk and Yurok tribes, this is more than an environmental win. It's a symbol of healing for the land, the water, and their people. This year also marked 100 years since the Indian Citizenship Act, a law that promised rights but left many fights unfinished. Signed in 1924, the act made Native people U.S. citizens with the right to vote. But states used poll taxes, literacy tests, and other tactics to block access. A century later, voter suppression still persists. Tribes face fewer polling locations and limits on ballot collection. The act also raised questions about sovereignty. Citizenship didn't erase tribal nationhood, as tribes still govern themselves today. 100 years later, the fight for justice and equality continues. This milestone reminds Native communities that promised rights still require protection. And another milestone was achieved this year as the National Museum of the American Indian celebrated its 20th anniversary. When the museum opened its doors in 2004, it stood as a symbol of recognition, a long overdue commitment to uplift Native voices and history in the heart of the nation's capital. Over 2 decades, it's become a gathering place for reflection, education, and celebration. This year, the museum marked its anniversary with events, exhibits, and panels spotlighting Indigenous achievements and looking ahead to the future. After 20 years, the mission remains clear to ensure that Indigenous stories are seen, heard, and remembered. It's not just a museum, it's a living testament to culture, history, and pride. And that's a look at some of the most impactful stories of 2024. For more, go to ictnews.org. For ICT, I'm Ebony Delaney.
And now let's turn towards Turtle Island and a look back at some of the stories we covered at the nexus between Indigenous communities and our changing climate.
It's hot and getting hotter. 2024 will be the hottest on record, according to the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. The second hottest, 2023. And we know the heat and storms and fires and other climate disruptions hit Indigenous communities disproportionately. And it's not just headline weather events.